we made it. 5 minutes. Oh my god. You know what though? When I worked at a video store, people do straight up tap on the glass. They're like, I need to rent this for class.
Mm-hmm. My late fee.
My late fee. I'll forgive your late fee. We don't do late fees here. You know, that was honestly the worst part of that job, is having to enforce late fees. Knowing full well that no one believed in them, and yet they were an integral part of keeping the business alive. Man, what a weird balance beam to walk. Anyway, it is now slightly after 7 p.m., and no matter where you are in a video store. The digital hangout space for people who miss hanging out in real life talking about movies. I'm one of your two hosts / clerks, Adam Protextor.
And I'm your other host / clerk, Stephanie Thoreson.
You can follow the store at You Are in a Video Store on Instagram. You can also follow us individually. I'm at Protextor on Insta.
And I am at Flock of Schmeagles. There are underscores in between those words.
And you gotta spell Schmeagle right. You are currently tuned in to UltraLoop on Twitch. This is a variety channel where we do a little bit of everything. Last night, if you were here, I streamed through a Sega Genesis game called Days of Christmas, which is a Santa platforming game.
And you beat it, right?
We beat it. It's very easy. Not a big accomplishment, but it was fun.
Take the win.
Thank you. I said it on easy, too. But it was really fun to get through. I think it will be something I play every year. Only took about an hour 20 to beat. What else? Oh, yeah. Tomorrow night we've got Aliens for Humans with Joseph Stallman and Penny Stallman and their kids. They put on a fantastic Among Us stream every Wednesday right here on UltraLoop. And then Thursday we're going to have Keelan. Alon is... touch and go right now because he's moving. That's why I filled in last night, but hopefully we'll have him back by this weekend. Moving. The worst. Anyway, Tuesday nights are your video store spot. We have some regulars in the chat. Glowcat, what up? Good to have you here.
Hello.
Pathos, good to have you here. Love having y'all in the building. If you're just tuning in for the first time, here's the recap of how the show generally goes. First of all, we ask you, what did you watch this week? And we'll tell you what we watched. We're here to trade recommendations. Treat us as though we were hanging out, slacking off at a video store, and you're a cool-ass customer walking up to the counter to chat movies, because that's what this is.
Yep, and this show is very interactive.
Very interactive.
The chat is a big part of this show, so we count on y'all out there to hang out and, contribute.
We'll find a way to keep the show going no matter what. I will tell you, the first few weeks we did this show, I think before you joined, I did it, and I definitely was like, do I have to monologue for 3 hours? The more the chat's here, the more fun it is, but also you've made the show incomparably better with your presence.
Oh.
We've now done, this is our 12th episode, or 13th episode with you.
I think so, yeah.
I think of what I did solo as a prototype trial run.
And I came on as a prototype trial run to talk about Nora Ephron, and then all of a sudden, 13 episodes later,
that's true.
I love hanging out with y'all.
Yeah. Second part of the show is going to be new arrivals. We've got some, if you hear that jingle jangle, that's our dog itching herself in front of us. June, do you want to be in the video store or not? She is our video store mascot dog. Her name is June. We'll do some new arrivals. We've got some good new arrivals this week. Couple bootleg tapes from a friend of mine online. One box set I've been waiting forever to get my hands on that I'm really excited about. One very exciting new discovery to me, an anime series. If you follow me on other platforms, you probably know what I'm talking about, but we'll get there. Hey, guys. Okay, now the cat's coming in to play with the dog. And then, of course, we got a big new arrival, which is actually visible in our frame right now, but we'll talk more about it in a second. And then third act of the show, we are going to go ahead and talk about our movie club pick of the week, bing, which was Scrooged. Whoomp. And we all watched Scrooged. Scrooged. And we're going to talk about it later on in the stream. So we're going to have a lot of Christmas content tonight. Christmas is what? 3 days away? I think it's going to be jingle jangle fun. So let's get this going for a second. And let's get on with the show. Stephanie, what are you drinking?
Oh, y'all, okay. For those of you who are regulars out there, you know the last couple weeks I haven't had my Maya-Well.
Maya-Well?
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor yet.
But Strawberry Hibiscus Ginger, thank you so much, Adam, for running out and getting me one of these for my special Sip. My special sip.
My special sip.
My special strain sip.
It's a maybe.
It's a maybe.
Pathos learned a thingy in their Marvel movie quest.
What did you learn, Pathos?
Yes, Pathos, tell us. So Pathos told me this in the stream last night. I'm going to fill everyone else in, including you. Pathos decided, correct me if I'm wrong, you had 7 days, and you're trying to watch all 23 Marvel movies within 7 days. Is that right? So we've taken about over
7
a year.
years.
Well, we started our Marvel watch it was going to be Marvel November, last November. And so we've been popcorning through Marvel movies the entire year, and now we just have Captain Marvel and Endgame yet, and we're just kind of blocked because neither of us ever gets excited to put on Captain Marvel, but we really want to watch Endgame.
I only saw Captain Marvel in theaters, to be fair.
I only saw it one time in theater too.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, I
think
really
we started out real strong.
We did.
We got through like 5 or 6 movies, like pretty quickly, and then we just dropped off.
And the goal was always
the Marvel planet for
off the Marvel Earth.
Off the Marvel.
What Earth are we on according to them? I think it's Earth 66. Am I right about that? Tell us what Earth we dropped off of, if you know. Yeah, I really like Brie Larson, and I was really excited. That I thought the effects in that movie looked awesome. I think the Captain Marvel stuff, they nailed it. But it just, it's weird. It's like one of those movies where, you know how in the past couple of years there have been an annoyingly increasing number of circumstances in which dummy butthole incel dudes on the internet get mad about something, and then they cause a big rift, but then they kind of poison the water for any discussion, because then, like, if you don't like that thing, like, are you on their side? Absolutely not.
I'm like,
Okay, so that happened with Captain Marvel because Brie Larson had the audacity to ask for more representation, gender representation, ethnic, racial representation, and gender expression representation at press panels, and boy did the white straight dudes of Twitter dislike that. So this movie came under a bunch of fire for no good reason. It's a solid movie, but I want to just compartmentalize the messiness of its release and say, as a Marvel movie, it feels a bit more phoned in to me than the others. I feel like it feels like one of the slicker, more empty entries, where a lot of the story beats about self-actualization like feel a little bit more telegraphed, more obvious, less like there. And to go back to something we were talking about last night, Iron Man 2 also caught flack because people didn't get what they wanted out of it and didn't like the villain arc, but it really takes the time to like hang out with Tony and his alcoholism and examine what his life looks like at its lowest. And I love when Marvel does that. And Captain Marvel felt like it wanted to be Captain America, Iron Man 1, and introduce a new superhero, and give it a feminist anchor. And
they
it
had a lot going that they were trying to accomplish there.
Sorry to ramble.
No.
Anyway, it's a solid movie, but we just like haven't been able to be like stoked on it, and I really want to finish Endgame. Marvel roadblock for Pathos was Thor: The Dark World. Fell asleep during it twice, so I had a gap for a few years, then had to binge. Yeah, it's an easy movie to. I think Dark World, like, okay, here's the thing. I don't dislike any Marvel movie. I feel like I can throw any of them on and feel comforted. They remind me kind of like movies I watched as a kid in that way, like Back to the Future, Star Wars. Just throw it on, it's there.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are bad, but I think Thor: The Dark World is, and weirdly, I've thrown on Thor: The Dark World like late at night a number of times just to kind of vibe with it. I think it has some really cool portions, but I think it's objectively the worst one, probably. I don't know. That was the one where we watched it and you were kind of like woof afterwards.
Yeah.
But it does have the cool stuff, like the disappearing keys and the kids who discover the anomaly in space-time. And
yeah. I think the fact that I don't have a strong opinion, like popping front of mind, says something.
Yeah, Glowcat, I feel like I really identify with you on Thor: Dark World. It is rough. I will say, I think it's got my favorite Loki moment in it. Right? Is it Thor Dark? I could be wrong, but is it Thor: The Dark World where their mother is dead and Loki is like hanging out in the in his prison cell, and he undoes the, like, he looks like he's sitting, like, reading a book or pacing back and forth, and then Thor makes him get rid of the illusion, and he's, like, broken, and his hair's long, and he's sobbing in a corner.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Loki moment.
Yeah.
I feel like that movie has its moments. Anyway.
It's good. I just want to point out that Pathos learned that Disney Plus streaming version of Captain Marvel is different than the original theatrical release.
Why do I not have that in my chat?
This happens sometimes.
Weird.
Like, sometimes there's a weird hiccup and you miss something that pops into the chat.
Well, thanks for being chat master.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is it different? Wedge, good question. Pathos, let us know how it's different.
Yes. Also, Wedge says Ragnarok is what got them back into it. And Tony G. West says, can't do the Marvel movies, never been into them, not knocking them, something in the world for everyone. Brother and friends give them shit.
I feel, you know what? Here's the thing. Whatever floats your boat, whatever, you know, if it's not for you, that's totally fine. I feel like there's so much pressure nowadays, especially with the internet, and this, you know, there's just this pressure to be everyone to be into the same things all the time, to the point where it gets uncomfortable. Like, everyone's talking about it, experiencing this thing together, and you feel left out of the conversation. Like, you can't engage in, you know, like, for me, for example, I never got into Game of Thrones. I know people are very confused by that, but I think I made it through like 2 seasons, and then just realized that I was watching it so I could talk about it with other people, and not because I was genuinely feeling excited about it. And maybe if I revisited it, I would actually love it. But at the time, I was actually like feeling like pressure because I was so busy. It felt like an assignment that I had to fulfill every week, and it just sucked the joy out of it for me. And I've never gone back and tried again. So that's you know.
Something really interesting about that in particular, and I'm sure people have different takes on if you missed out or if you should go back. I've watched the entirety of Game of Thrones. I enjoy it. I wouldn't say that you need to feel pressure in either direction. If you ever feel like you want a long-form fantasy story that's new to you, check it out. Mm-hmm. But the social pressure aspect you're talking about, that's like become like a business model. Mm-hmm. It's not. I think it has been the way the world's going. I saw someone pointing out the other day. I think it was Red Letter Media guys. Shout out them. They're OGs in the talking about movies on the internet game. The Red Letter Media guys were talking about how people used to be into things like Star Wars because the first 3 Star Wars movies were so fucking good. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes like, I'm into Disney, and now brands have taken over. So now you're a Disney fan, you're a Marvel fan, you're a Studio Ghibli fan, you're a PlayStation fan, an Xbox fan.
So you can't just like pick and choose, like, I like this thing, I like that thing. It has to fall under an umbrella or
a brand. Yeah. And the streaming services are taking advantage of that. I don't think anyone out there would call themselves a Netflix fan yet, but I do think they exist without that title yet. I think there are people who watch every new thing that come into Netflix because of social pressure, and I think that's part of the streaming business model to a certain extent, is to create experiences. That's why they drop every episode at once, and so they can create an experience where everyone has to watch this to get it trending, because if the conversation happens, it trends on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, then that ad money comes back to the platform, more attention, they're able to grow it. Mm-hmm. So Stranger Things, I loved season 1 of Stranger Things. I watched, I think, the first 3 episodes of season 2. I was like, I think the show for me works best as a 1-season miniseries. I'm not super invested. I want to watch some other things. I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just walking away.
Yeah. And
a lot of people are like, why'd you stop? It's not for me. So, Tony G. Wiz. Oh man, Glowcat there with you with getting shit for Game of Thrones too.
Okay, thank you, Glowcat. And maybe Tony as well?
Oh wait, Disney Plus. We got a Pathos Disney Plus.
Here we go.
Rewind. Veers is reading a map at a. I remember this scene. The jerk ass guy rolls up, hits on her, says she needs to smile. She gives him a get out of here face. He walks away. She steals his motorcycle and takes off. Doesn't she smack him in the theatrical version? Oh, original. Yeah, beats the shit out of the motorcycle guy, shatters his arm, then steals his motorcycle while he's laying on the ground writhing in pain.
Wait, is that is that the theatrical release? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically Disney was like, we need to make it less man-hatey. She's an
I see.
intergalactic
Okay.
soldier
Yeah.
who is on an alien planet and someone threatens her and gets in her face. Now, this moment to me feels manufactured from the script writing perspective because it's so clearly written as a, hey, this is an...
It's like a...
Yeah, it's a wink like, hey,
Okay.
you've had this experience, fuck these guys. Which is fine, but it just make it organic.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is why I buy physical media, because I don't trust streaming services. And if you can feel this feeling of this streaming licensed material just got written into a stimulus package as a potential future felony, which might impact platforms like Twitch, you can feel the stranglehold tightening from streaming companies and companies like Disney in particular. Mm-hmm. I said this weeks ago, but the owner of I Love Video in Austin, Texas, I got the chance to talk to him on the phone shortly after I Love closed because I was interested in acquiring part of the collection. So he gave me a call and we talked, and he had this whole inside baseball breakdown on how when you own a video store, you were able to license movies to put them out. And that studios are very glad this video store model is dying because they don't want to license things. They want it to all be streaming so they can control the gateways and the pay gates for how you watch it. So I always say if Disney acquires a new company, like when Disney bought Fox, I bought all the Fox Blu-rays that I want because they are going to take it. They're going to restrict that access because buy that shit on a Blu-ray, you spend $20 and you can watch it anytime you want to for the rest of your life. Disney does not want that from you. Disney wants you to pay $5 every time you watch it. So, anyway, that's my little rant on why I believe in physical media.
Yeah.
But this changes like this in particular raise my hackles and make me be like, see, this is why I don't trust y'all.
Yeah, what was the thing we talked about? Oh, man.
With Splash?
Yeah, with Splash. Maybe that was like five weeks ago or something with the hair. They CGI'd hair to cover her.
Yeah, they gave her creepy butt hair to cover her bare butt. Thank you, Wedge, for the upvote on that rant. I appreciate it. Dang, cool. We got a good chat tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of homies in the chat. So great to see Tony, Glowcat, Pathos, Watch Out, Wedge.
Yeah.
They censored Final Destination, Glowcat? Do tell.
Oh, really?
Is Final Destination on Disney Plus? 7-year release on VHS when I was a kid. Did that 7-year release on VHS. Yes, Tony, yes. Yes. This is the whole Disney business model, is the vault. The vault. When you're a kid, you think the vault is a vault.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Like a literal vault.
Yeah. You think, oh, the negatives are in there. And they got Walt Disney's severed head in there.
Yeah.
Frozen and alive. And Michael Eisner goes in there to talk to it. No, the vault is a manufactured concept to create artificial demand. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely, that's why it is. That's also why Disney re-releases their titles multiple times, gives them all the same spine format, and then takes them away to create that pressure. Get them all so they look nice on the shelf.
Yeah.
I want to know how they censored Final Destination and who censored it. But yeah, anyway, what did we watch this week?
Oh, boy.
We watched a lot of Christmassy stuff, and please let us know on Netflix. Todd's original death in Final Destination is censored when he's accidentally hung in the bathroom. So that is a gory death. I don't know if Holdenwook's here, but I saw this in theater with Holdenwook and a friend when we were 13. We did this thing where in Iowa we'd go see a movie on Friday night and then go to what was called Rock and Skate, where they played pop hits and you skated in an ice rink.
Ugh.
So
I wish
fun.
I could do that.
Me too.
June, girl.
Is the dog bothering you?
Hey,
baby girl.
She's just breathing kind of funny.
Oh, monkey.
I think we all have some allergies going on in this house.
Mm-hmm. Kitty's been sneezing.
Her chest is just shaking in a funny way.
Oh, that's because she's laying weird trying to get attention. So, Final Destination at the mall. Holdenwook and I and a friend saw it, and he excused himself to go to the bathroom, I think, during that scene. But yeah, he slips. Nah, Midwest, rollerblades. Hell yeah, I got my rollerblades in the other room. Anyway, yeah, that death scene. Have you seen that recently? Mm-hmm. He slips in the shower. I forget what it is, but it's like a cable and like a metal cable goes around his throat,
right.
and his eyes,
Ooh,
eyes pop red, like the blood vessels pop.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very rough scene.
Whew.
Well, damn, yeah. it is weird how those things, like, also, this is the final thing I'll say, because God knows this is not the last time I'll talk about these subjects on the show, but I will just throw out real quick. There's an interesting graph that came out, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago, that is a graph breakdown of the year of original release for things on major platforms.
Yeah.
So Netflix, Hulu, blah, it's broken down by decade, and you can see that about 80% of what's on Netflix and 80% of what's on Hulu is from the 2010s. And it used to be, I actually remember seeing some dope movies on Netflix when it was early, because they had it was all about movies, but once they pivoted to new content, those movies get lost. And that's why we're doing this show.
Yep. I agree.
Anyway, what'd y'all watch this week?
Speaking of movies, yeah, what'd y'all watch this week? Drop it in the chat. Let us know what you've been watching. What did we watch? Do you have our list?
Yeah, I got our list. Sorry, I posted a status about looking earnestly for emotional recommendations on how to deal with things like driving past full patios of people with no masks on. Because we have a bar in our neighborhood that we can hear parties at every night, and we've driven by, and it is packed to the gills of people with no masks on.
Yeah, I had a rough night last night.
It's just like, anyway, it's not what the show is, but, you know, we're in favor of being safe and protecting each other, and I opened up to that and saw some people being snarky. Okay, let's look. We watched a bunch of Christmas specials.
Oh, yeah. We did mention in the stream last week that we were going to go kind of ham on Christmas stuff from here on out. And we've stayed pretty true to that. I think exclusively Christmas?
Oh, not really, but almost. Answering your question, Tony G. Wiz, you can type in codes on a web browser. It's in the URL. You cannot do it on the app. So we got, okay, Glowcat's in a video club, and they watched Alien Space Avenger, a VHS flick called Alien Space Avenger, Darkman, and Scrooged. Thank you for watching Scrooged. I have a cut box copy of Alien Space Avenger up there. I've not watched it. I might grab it off the shelf and watch it this week.
That's what's so fun. Last week, I remember I climbed up on the chair and grabbed something down.
Robot jocks,
yeah.
Yeah, would love to know what you think of Alien Space Avenger, because I've never seen it. I bought it from I Love Video. Actually, bought it from I Love Video for like $2 cut box. Back when the world was a thing, Stephanie had a Friday show at a comedy theater in Austin called Cold Town Theater, which shared a wall with a giant video store called I Love Video. And I would always attend the shows, and while they were warming up, I would go kill time and walk around the video store's used tape section and buy stuff. That's where Alien Space Avenger came from. Darkman's been a long time since I've watched, but I love that movie. Have you seen Darkman?
I have not seen Darkman.
It's the superhero movie Sam Raimi made so that he could prove he could handle a superhero movie to make Spider-Man.
Oh.
He wanted to make, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think he wanted to make The Shadow, and he couldn't get the rights to it, so he just invented Darkman.
Ooh.
It's Liam Neeson playing the lead in a superhero movie.
I am intrigued.
And it's very good. Darkman was Bruce Campbell's finest role. See, I barely remember him in that. I believe he's in it. Thank you, Wedge, also joining us with Scrooged.
Yes.
Watch the Ewok Adventure Caravan of Courage. I've never seen the Ewok Adventure movies. It's a big viewing hole for me. And I love that you watched Pac-Man Christmas in Pac-Land, Glowcat, the animated Pac-Man Christmas special.
What?
Well, we watched a trailer for it, remember? We watched a video that was like 10 forgotten Christmas specials, and then we were like, let's pick one.
Oh.
Pac-Man was in there. It was late at night.
Yeah. What one did we put on?
What did we put on?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll figure it out in a second. Because I don't remember. Oh, and Glowcat's got a live podcast. You can get the VOD on Twitch. Most trauma flick a non-trauma flick can be. Excellent. Hey, Glowcat, can we find that by clicking on your username here? Is it on your channel? Because if so, everyone go do that. Otherwise, please drop the link. Yes, I love the tradition of Sam Raimi using Shemp in uncredited movie roles, which really confused me as a kid. I was like, are Shemps zombies? Because had always heard about like Shemp #1 or whatever in the Evil Dead movies. Turns out it is a Marx Brothers, or no, sorry, a Three Stooges reference. Shemp was the fourth Stooge that was cut. Forgive me if I got my history wrong on this. I don't know a whole lot about the Stooges, but that's what Evil Dead's based on. So Sam Raimi always calls his like uncredited filler roles Shemp.
Oh, how funny!
Right?
You learned something new, huh?
I know we do. Okay, we got what else? I want to hear more about the Pac-Man Christmas special. Might watch that this week. Scrooged, thank you, Tony. We're gonna all have a lot to say. It's awesome. Moulin Rouge, which I tried to watch this week and I didn't, but I probably will because
you did.
Because Down with Love got me so excited for it.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Crybaby with Johnny Depp, John Waters, Johnny Depp riff on 50s greaser culture and Young Guns, which I've never seen, but that's the Brat Pack Western from the 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, I haven't seen Crybabies.
Crybaby's fun.
Have I seen Crybaby?
Did y'all hear about Johnny Depp though? He's like, did you read that expose on Johnny Depp and how he was a judge officially ruled that the accusations of him being called a wife beater by the press were not libel because they were true, and he's just poisoned now for Hollywood. It was a kind of a tell-all article a few weeks ago in the Hollywood Reporter. I recommend checking out.
I remember you telling me about that. I haven't read it. Curious to read that. Well,
The original third Stooge. Thank you, Pathos. And then he had issues and they moved on and cast Curly. Got it. Cool.
Oh.
Very interesting. And need to watch Star Wars. You need to watch It's Not Good, but it's Star Wars. That is Disney's pitch for everything they've been putting out for 5 years. It's not good, but you need to watch it because it's Star Wars.
It's full circle from what we were talking about. Actually, it's interesting because we have been discussing a lot, well, not a lot, but we've been talking about The Mandalorian and kind of similar
big thing happened this week, so no spoilers, please.
Yeah, no spoilers, but we started The Mandalorian and then we dropped off after...
We got bored after episode 3, and then a bunch of friends said, "No, this show's the shit. Don't stop watching it. You'll enjoy it. Keep watching." And actually, after I think all year, we haven't had Disney all year, and I just renewed it. So I renewed it so that we could watch Home Alone.
Yeah, that's right.
And Home Alone 2 actually, and now it's there, and I think I'll catch up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wedge does not love The Mandalorian. Pathos watched Rise of Skywalker this week. Well, holy shit, man. So Pathos, how did you watch like all the Marvel movies and Rise of Skywalker? Like, you marathoned some stuff this week.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, people are feeling wintry and cozy.
You haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet.
I haven't.
I saw it 3 times in theater.
You did, and I
quite by accident.
I've not seen it once.
I kept going with different people kept inviting me.
Yeah, that's been on my list since it was in theaters.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get the dog out of here because there's something going on with her neediness right now. See this? I'm sure y'all can peek. She's right below the microphone. She's
being very.
She's the cute face I'm scritching. She took a very long nap before this, and I think she's been out. She's been fed. I think she's waking up with "Can we play?" energy. And I'm sorry, dog, but unless you have things to contribute about Scrooged, you're gonna have to go chill out a little longer, and then I'll play with you after the stream. Okay? All right. I'm gonna escort her out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
By the way, here's the list of things we watched. If you wanna cheat, I started keeping my list separate, movies and TV. So just giving you a heads up, the TV we've watched is here, but there's different lists. Wedge is shouting you out. Wedge shouting you out on the stream, baby.
My will.
Okay, come on, dude. Come on, duck it down. Yeah, there you go. All right, come on, baby, let's go.
Okay, Pete, those 5 days left on the free trial. I just finished Avengers before the show started. 16 movies to go in your Marvel movie quest. That is a lot. But like I said, I just had my last meeting for a job that I've been at for 2 years. Today at noon was my last, hopefully, ever meeting. You know how that goes when you leave a job and then you're like, was that the last meeting? So I feel officially like very tired. I'm very low energy today, but also feeling like fully, you know, ready and giving myself permission to just lean into Christmas starting now. Now that I can be like, okay, here we go. And y'all, the couch is calling my name, and so are the blankets and pillows. So I'm gonna be just watching a lot of movies. That's my plan. Let's see. You watched Rise of Skywalker in place of The Incredible Hulk because that movie is not on Disney Plus. Oh, yeah. I just, you know, again, you know, no real reason for me missing Rise of Skywalker. It's just kind of been, you know, flying right under my radar. I just keep sort of forgetting that it came out, honestly, which I don't know what that says, but hey, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's fun. All right, now Adam has about 15 lists on here. I'm very confused which list is from this past week, but it looks like, oh, right, here it is. Okay, so we watched Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I did fall asleep while we were watching this movie, so I don't really remember the end. I was sort of, you know, doing the head bob, you know. Looks like I'll leave that one for Adam. We did watch Batman Returns, which was really fun. Ugh, how fun. Happiest Season, We Wish You a Turtle Christmas, and Scrooged. I'm going to go ahead and drop our watches into the chat. Oh, Watch Out Wedge says you can do yourself a favor and just never watch it. The Rise of Skywalker. Okay. You know, I have heard mixed things. I have heard, like, people are like, you know what? You're probably good. No rush. No rush on that. Drop your opinion in the chat. What'd you think of The Rise of Skywalker? No spoilers. Please. I hear her squeaking.
Can the mic hear it?
I don't think so. Can y'all hear June squeaking on her toys?
I set her up with a toy. Try and give her something to do. Cool. 16 movies to go in your Marvel movie quest, which means you are at, so I can, you just finished Winter Soldier? Am I right? Oh, okay. Wait, The Incredible Hulk? Oh, it's not on Disney. That's so funny. That's so funny. Like, Disney's like, we own everything except not the entire MCU, but most of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Were you just talking about that?
No, but I was just thinking that.
That's so funny. They can't get there. No one can catch Hulk. No one can catch Tim Roth in Hulk. I love the Edward Norton Tim Roth Hulk movie.
I do too.
It's got a terrible ending, like a lot of Marvel. Well, not a terrible ending, but a derivative big fight in the street ending, like a lot of them do. But I really like a lot of that movie, and I think that what's her name? Oh my goodness. Aerosmith's daughter, Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler.
I think Liv Tyler is really, really good in that movie. I love the gentle relationship that she and Bruce have. I think it's actually a very romantic. Yeah. And it was a Stan film and not Lee. However, the original Hulk was a Lee film without Stan. It's an Ang Lee movie. I am the daughter of Aerosmith. I feel bad for forgetting her name. I like her a lot more than I like Steven Tyler. Okay. What did we watch this week?
I was just doing a quick little setup of what we watched together. I kind of just boopity booped down the movie list here, but
Word.
I did leave out Kong Skull Island.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and I'll just get that out of the way. I watched Kong Skull Island by myself. I really love this movie. I think it's super duper fun. It really surprised me when I first watched it. I think that was a second watch for me. It really surprised me because I very callously just thought this will be, I don't know. I thought it was just going to be kind of a phone it in, turn your brain off sort of action movie. But it's actually a very smart movie and very well done as an action movie and legitimately super thrilling. The sense of scale is awesome. No skimping on the Kong content at all. They know what you're there for and they give it to you. Speaking of Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston, both from MCU, both kill it. Maybe they're not awesome in Marvel and Thor the Dark World, but they are both awesome in this movie. And one thing I didn't really expect to find myself noticing or feeling as much on the second watch through is just how smart this movie is about war. It very much, I mean, it is meant to be like Vietnam, kind of a Vietnam movie, and I think it's one of the best Vietnam movies I've seen that doesn't take place in Vietnam. Basically the war is winding down, Vietnam War is over, and Samuel L. Jackson plays a commanding officer who cannot let go of it, who does not want to go home, who does not want to... basically, it's about the United States' inability to stomach the loss that was Vietnam and how it kind of fucked with the collective consciousness after the resounding victory of World War II. And they use Skull Island as a stand-in for an island that is killing you at every turn, and they use the hunt for Kong as a metaphor for the futility of the Vietnam War and the blow to the American ego, because Samuel L. Jackson cannot. He's on this quest to destroy Kong, and he just can't do it. It's also about how if maybe you'd look around the place you are and respect it a little more, maybe you wouldn't end up with that sort of toxic masculine issue. So this movie's way better than it had any right to be. I really recommend it. I think it's super fun if you love action movies, and John C. Reilly is in it. I won't spoil how if you haven't seen it, but he plays a remarkably charming role as kind of a nuttier comic relief character.
It's been a minute for me.
You never saw it. Oh, Glowcat, one of the best Kong movies, actually. Yes, I totally agree with you, Glowcat. Really surprised me by how much I loved it the first time, and I got even more out of it this time. This is a big wreck for me. Pathos wants to... Glowcat, I want to catch up, said they're not a huge fan of most Star Wars media, or the films. I mean, for me, it's original trilogy, and then I love the prequel trilogy. I actually really like Force Awakens. I think I actually like all of them. Rise of Skywalker biffed the landing, I will say that. But I feel like I'm in a space right now where I don't expect anything from Star Wars. I'm like, you're the most formative, most important, coolest movie trilogy of all time. You influenced the cinematic landscape for centuries to come. I got it. It's cool. Then the prequels are like, these are really fun, and everything else is like, I like this world. Cool. I don't need anything more out of it. The only thing that ever annoys me about Star Wars is when Star Wars winks at me for watching Star Wars.
I'll get that.
Like Rogue One, solid movie. Not trying to insult Rogue One. I didn't like it, though. It's solid, but I didn't like it because it wanted to wink at me so goddamn much. It's like got the dudes from the Mos Eisley Cantina showing up being like, we're wanted men. This movie takes place just before that. Do you recognize us from the bar, viewer? Shut up. Why are you here?
It's fan service.
Yeah, I don't like fan service.
Yeah.
Was a stand film for Star Wars peeps. Yeah. I mean, and also a wide fucking net for Star Wars sales. The last one in the Skywalker saga. We've been talking it up for 40 years. We need to make some money off. 50 years. 40 years. 43 years. And then Rebels, I've heard, is really, really good as well. Okay, well, end rant on Kong. I think that's the only thing that I watched that you didn't watch. Mm-hmm. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to shout out the one TV show I watched the entirety of that you didn't watch, which was Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. It's a sketch comedy show on Netflix. If you're a fan of absurd sketch comedy, like The State, musical sketch comedy, what am I thinking of? Maybe even Tenacious D. This show gave me real The State vibes. It gave me real I Think You Should Leave vibes. I liked it a lot more than I Think You Should Leave because I thought it was smarter. And big Tim and Eric, big comedy bang bang vibes. Scott Aukerman and Ed Helms produced it, and you can feel their fingerprints of that alt comedy. 6 episodes on Netflix. I recommend this one. I think it was a nice, like, oh, hey, some sketch comedy. I thought it was very good. Some of it, like any good sketch show, not all of it's great, but the few things that do hit so hard that I'm like, watch this if you like comedy. Auntie Donna. Yeah, Glowcat, 10 out of 10. Super recommend. Absolutely. Glowcat, you and I are like, we're on the same wavelength. Cool.
I gotta check that out. I didn't watch it.
You watched one episode with me and you laughed like as much as I expected you to. Which was like big in moments and soft in moments.
Yeah. It's weird because my amount of laughter doesn't always feel congruent with how much I enjoy something or even find it funny. I'm much like many of my emotions, I experience my laughter on the inside.
You're also a professional comedian in a way that I'm not.
Well. And
I have noticed that you tend to not outwardly laugh, even when you think things are very funny. I think because your comic writer brain is thinking about it.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I'm always kind of deconstructing the joke and like thinking, honestly, and this is not to like toot my own horn, but sometimes I just like see the joke before it lands, and so it's more of a
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get you.
Instead of a like
but the
LOL,
thing I like about this show,
oh, yeah,
I will say I think you'd like this show, and the reason is because I think the reason their punchlines surprised me and I enjoyed them is because they want you to see the joke before it lands, and then once it lands, they land it 30 more times in a row, and then it's that repetition that you're like, oh, the joke is making me sit through the joke.
Yeah.
And I get it,
Yeah, that reminds me of what am I thinking of? Oh, Christian Shaw's A Horse. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. If anybody isn't familiar, Kristen Shaw's A Horse, you can find it on YouTube, but I forget who her comedy partner was on this bit, but it was like a bit that they did at some festivals, and really it's just this guy singing this song, Christian Shaw's A Horse, which is just repeating that phrase over and over again while clapping enthusiastically, and Kristen Shaw sort of galloping around doing like a hoedown with him. I think the longest that I've heard it went, the whole point was to make you feel crazy, but also like the comedy of repetition where it folds in on itself and then suddenly you're laughing at the absurdity. I think the longest I heard it went was one time it went like 12 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Of just that nonstop.
So what Stephanie's talking about, and I'm going to paraphrase you because Stephanie teaches comedy professionally and performs comedy professionally, and I'm going to attempt to paraphrase the rule of the funniness of repetition.
Oh, yeah.
Because you threw it out there. I know what you're talking about, but I'm going to try and like think about it as a graph, and the graph is how funny something is, and here's the joke, and it's funny, and it's funny, and it's funny, and then you're like, oh, that's not funny. I've heard it too many times. But then you slowly build back up, and then you reach an even higher peak because you've added on the absurdity of like, you're gonna lose the audience for a while. They're gonna hate you, and you have to get through that, and then you earn them back bigger than you had them originally. Mm-hmm. That kind of the gist?
Yeah. It's almost the thing of everyone is experiencing, like feeling uncomfortable together, and it's that the repetition breaking that tension.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the tension break.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony G. Wiz won $10 on Saturday night at Cold Town. We actually hosted the Cold Town stream on Friday night.
We did.
We hosted for 3 hours. It was super fun. Hey, book us as your hosts. We will host your shit. Pay us and we will. Saturday night, holy shit from Prayer Circle and Kyle, who I assume you mean Kyle Irion, who is one of the writers and members of Prayer Circle who put that on. Fun little loop-de-doop. Is Prayer Circle began as the Cold Town student troupe, and back when shows were happening, I was in Prayer Circle for like the first 6 months of Prayer Circle, and then I had to drop out. Basically, I had to leave to pursue having enough time to do Baby Lion stuff, which is the company that produces this show.
Yeah.
So like that was a very hard decision because Prayer Circle, those people are wonderful, and I stepped away because there weren't enough hours in the day, but They just did Ho Ho Holy Shit on Saturday. I think it's like one of the most successful student troupes ever to come out of that theater, Midnight Society being the other.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
I'd
Anyway,
say so.
big props to them.
Yeah, and shout out to Cool Town.
Shout out Cold Town always.
Yeah.
That's how we got started streaming together.
That's true.
But we're here to talk about movies.
Are we?
Okay, so let's go down the list. Here's what Steph and I watched. You already rattled it off.
I did.
So let's start with Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. This is why we renewed our Disney Plus subscription. This movie definitely takes all of the Tom and Jerry shit, or maybe Roadrunner, Coyote shit from the first movie, and turns it up. I think we used the expression "turns it up" like 3 or 4 times while watching this, because we're like, this is the first one except turned up.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go through this beat by beat. The movie starts. It gives us that tiny little house vector with the little light surrounded by the vectors of the big city, and the music comes in. And I think both in unison, both of us were like, this music always creeped me out.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know about you, but I found us kind of talking over Home Alone 2, talking about Home Alone 1.
Yes.
Like every beat. Like, oh, right. So this is like, okay, so this is like they're doing that beat of the movie. Okay.
Home Alone 2 wants you to remember Home Alone 1. Home Alone 2 is terrified you'll forget Home Alone 1. But right from the beginning with the creepy music, there's something both of these movies do with that. Who's the score? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, it's John Williams, duh.
Right.
So that creepy score invites you into like it. I just think it does such a good job. These movies both do such a good job. I think the first one obviously does everything better than the second one, with the exception of doing violence better. The second one's much more violent, but it invites you to feel that way you do feel as a kid, when, especially if it's wintry out, it's cold out, maybe there's snow. Like, I'm remembering a very specific kind of Midwest snowy night where the snow is dry and kind of kicking up with the wind in little powder puffs through the street. Everything is black outside. Street lamps are turning off earlier. It's just anything could happen and something could emerge from any shadow, and every sound feels eerily crisp. But also, it's a beautiful winter wonderland. But also, you're a kid, and there's this magic in the air, and you truly believe in Santa Claus, which is amazing, but also that means magic exists, which kind of is existentially horrifying in its own way. I think the Home Alone movies right from the bat with that music, automatically just John Williams immediately captures that feeling of magic, but I'm a little freaked out that you have when you're a kid.
I think so.
And what else about that John Williams score? Did you know that the has lyrics, and that those lyrics are terrible?
Yeah, they sing them at the very end of
the first one. But there's, if you look up, and I know this only because I added the wrong version of the song to my Spotify Christmas playlist, but it's called Somewhere in My Memory. And at first it's cute, but then later on the lyrics, like, you're like, John Williams, don't write lyrics.
You know what's so funny? Every time I hear that and I think about the lyrics, which I don't really know, I sing in my head the line from Buffy season 1, the "Someone's in the ceiling."
Someone's in the ceiling. It might be Joe Pesci.
I don't know why. I just, like, my wires cross there and I just sing, "Someone's in the ceiling."
I liked this movie a lot, though. The last time either of us had watched it was on tape as kids. I loved Rob Schneider's bit. I think Rob Schneider, I will say I love Rob Schneider in this movie. You won't hear me say that very often, but I love him in this movie. Tim Curry's wonderful in this movie. Obviously, John Hurt and Catherine O'Hara as the parents, like, they're clearly being direct. They know what they're doing. They're here to do the same thing they did in the first one, but they know themselves now, and it feels very confident. I mean, Macaulay Culkin is just a born star, clearly. And then Donald Trump is in it for a second, at which we were like, The funny thing about Donald Trump's cameo in this movie is that he's on screen for maybe maybe 10 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, and he's still such a bad actor. And I love
I know
how fucking bad he is in it. And also, we just got Tim Curry triple.
I love it. I was just gonna say, like, you know, why waste time talking about that when we can talk about how everyone loves Tim Curry?
Dab for Tim. Dab for Tim. Dab for Tim. It's lovely.
Tim.
I'm so happy that you like me so much. It's hard to do. I'm convinced that there's a bit of Scary Movie 2 that was cut from streaming because I watched it streaming. We talked about this in the show. I admitted I watched this during Halloween. And I swear to God there's a Tim Curry joke where he walks in on someone looking at a monitor. I swear this joke is there and I have no idea where it was because he plays a perv in that movie. And I swear this guy's like, you gotta see this, boss. And he goes, what? What is it? Titties? Pussy? What? And I love Tim Curry's delivery of that because it's so gross and absurd and he makes it so funny and it wasn't in the movie. And I was like, where's the Tim Curry saying, what is it? What is it? Titties? What?
Did you find... You made me watch that clip.
I don't know where it is though because I was like, where's this Tim Curry line? Donald Trump is in The Little Rascals. Yeah, he plays the rich kid's dad.
Yeah, he was in a lot of things around that time because, you know, he's had to pivot a lot.
Very famous man, Donald Trump.
His only, yeah, if you haven't heard.
Very famous person.
His only goal in life was to continuously pivot to maintain / regain power and money in any way possible.
You know what? If Donald Trump came into our video store, I'd say, get the fuck out of here. You don't rewind tapes. Dab.
Tim Curry.
Homeland 2.
Tim Curry.
Favorite director and favorite writer. Oh, so wait. Expand on that, Tony You Wiz, because I think, wasn't Home Alone 2 also Chris Columbus? Is Chris Columbus your favorite director? Because good choice. If so, Chris Columbus rules. I'm so curious. I want to know the credits for writer now. Oh, yeah, Chris Columbus and John Hughes. Yeah, They both came back for it. Hell yeah. John Hughes, your favorite writer? I think that's a really wonderful pick. I love that. John Hughes is a fantastic writer. All right. Well, feel free to chime in with any more thoughts on Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. I will say, I think I watched it more as a kid, and then I watched Home Alone 2. Home Alone 1 became more of a tradition as I got older.
Well, we are watching Home Alone 1 on Christmas Eve because this will be my first Christmas not seeing my family, and that is a tradition of ours from my childhood.
And we're going to have to order a large cheese pizza for both of us.
But we're going to have to go easy on the Pepsi.
Kieran Culkin, as was pointed to us last week, 16 Candles. Yes, y'all. Okay. 16 Candles. Delightful, wonderful, beautiful movie. We can't show you anything. I wish we could. Stephanie and I are currently editing our sitcom. For those of you who don't know, we ran a big campaign to finance a sitcom. We cast our favorite people in Austin comedy. We got to shoot it overnights at our favorite business in Austin, Toy Joy. And it's a sitcom based on my years working at a toy store. We are going to, spoiler, be moving to Los Angeles next year in the hopes of pitching it partially. And there is a love story between Stephanie's character and her wife in the show that we heavily borrowed from 16 Candles for, very intentionally. And my favorite shot in the entire show is that I directed it, Stephanie acted, and our DP, Hannah Varnell. I think the three of us struck a magical chord when we nailed this one shot from 16 Candles. It's a clear homage, and I cannot wait to show y'all because it's the proudest piece of 20-second footage that I've shot a lot of random shit. It's my proudest 20 seconds.
I agree.
Can't wait to show it.
It warms my heart.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This is another Christmas movie we watched. The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin, as it was marketed.
God, I had a blast rewatching this movie.
It's so good. This is my favorite Batman movie. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just so fun.
I am Catwoman. Tony G. Wiz, the birthday cake kiss may be the thing we recreated, but you'll have to wait to see. But it totally is the thing we recreated. This movie was terribly mismarketed. Please expand on that, Glowcat. That's a really interesting perspective. I would love to hear more on that. And I've been talking enough. I've seen this movie a handful of times. I adore everyone in it. My favorite Batman, Michael Keaton. Keaton, God, I love you, Keaton. Fucking Michelle Pfeiffer, 34 in this movie, which I love that in the 80s, in a time that was very, like, we often think about the shallowness of Hollywood. I think we're mostly talking about a period between the 90s and the mid-aughts that hopefully we're overcoming. Because if you think before that, there wasn't quite... I think we got really shallow towards the end of the 90s, is my point. Anyway, you can be shallow and obviously find her to be an incredible, like, sex icon in this movie. But I do love that a female lead in a superhero movie is 34, and it's the early 90s. So hopefully we can keep doing that. Danny DeVito is 33 in this movie, looking like he's 99. He's looking like shit.
21.
And 21. Amazing. Okay, it was marketed as a kid-friendly movie, tie-ins with kid meals, parents and kids, freak kids out. I did not know this. That's really interesting, because I was probably I was born in 85, so 7 when this movie came out. I didn't see it in theaters. My Batman movie, and I'm curious since you're around the same age, tell us what your Batman movie was as a kid, by the way, chat. Mine was Batman Forever. It came out in 1997. I was 12 years old. I was ready for Batman. Or 96, I was 11. I was ready for Batman. And that's my Batman movie. And then I went back later in like when I was 14 or 15 and watched Batman and Batman Returns, and I was like, oh, these are amazing. But I was already, past that like hump where I was watching R-rated movies and I wasn't a kid. This movie absolutely would have terrified me as a kid. I think I did see it a few times as a little kid, but I don't think that I was paying enough attention. I do remember the penguin biting a guy's nose and that freaking me out, so maybe that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. It's so weird for me because I have such a strange relationship with my memory to movies as a kid, because I didn't really like go to the movies very often, and I didn't really like watch new releases very often. I like watch the same 10 movies for like the first 15 years of my life.
I was gonna make a joke and be like, for the first 10 years, and then you're just like organically were longer than that.
Yeah. It's true though. I don't know why. I mean, going to the movies was like a very special treat because it was very expensive. And renting new releases was also a treat because it was more expensive to rent new releases. And so I think we sometimes opted for renting a few older movies instead of one new release. So it's almost like I have like this very foggy brained recollection of seeing anything new when I was a kid. I'm like, did I?
You probably did.
I'm sure
and I
did.
think some things you think were old as a kid were actually new releases, and you are forgetting the year and it's not lining up. Because you've talked about renting certain things when they came out, or like when you were a kid, and I'm like, that would have been the year it came out.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
I mean, I feel like your parents wanted to see new stuff.
No, I think so. I just, like, I guess my memory's just bad.
That feels more likely to me as someone who knows you and dates you. The Batman Returns SNES game was hard. Yes, Pathos. Any movie tie-in game is the worst. Glowcat was 6 when they saw Batman Returns, and they loved it. I mean, hell yeah. They said they grew up as a super Batman kid. Their mom didn't let them watch all kind of stuff, and she didn't really care. I was kind of the same way. My mom basically hit this point where she'd be like, you're not gonna... You get this is fake. She was pretty laissez-faire with stuff too. But yes, Wedge also, when I went back and... Okay, so I lied. I did see the first 2 Batman as kids. Movies as a kid. And they both scared me. But I wasn't old enough to truly process it. So I think Batman Forever was the one where I like could tell you the plot, you know? Anyway, whatever. Why was his mouth black? Because he's because it's an awesome choice. Because it's cool.
I always thought maybe it was because he grew up in the sewer and it was supposed to be like birds like Dirty Bird.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just that he's like a slimy bile guy. He's a tarry black. It's probably maybe it's a bird. Maybe it's supposed to be like a bird saliva that dissolves food for you to make it gooier.
What did we watch recently? Was it that where it looks black but it's actually green? I'll think of it.
We're gonna have to go down that. He's a sewer man. See, that's all you need. That's the explain. Glowcat got it. A circus sewer man. Yes.
A circus sewer man, Dirty Bird.
Dirty Bird, you're creeping me out because you're just reminding me of whenever you say Dirty Bird, I'm like you're giving me panic attacks from misery.
Oh.
He's just a real dirty bird.
Oh yeah.
Scaring me over here in your sweater. You're saying Dirty Bird? An army of trained penguins. Yeah, I love this movie, and I love how few fucks it gives about logic. Once heard someone someone once told me, notice how in Hong Kong or Japanese movies particularly, explanations are not needed as long as it's cool. And we're so obsessed. And the best example for that is Face Off, which is John Woo from Hong Kong doing Face Off. And the studio wanted to put in so much. Originally, John Woo's pitch for this movie was that they magically switched faces. And the studio made him make it like a scientific thing. And so anytime anyone's like, huh, that's so unrealistic in Face Off, like, it doesn't matter. Do you think it's cool to watch them switch faces? Yes or no?
Yeah, and also, like, I think that the fact that there's so little real world explanation makes it so much scarier. Because you just have to, like, be there in that suspension of disbelief that these people are trapped behind these faces. And the acting, they pull it off so well that it's like,
it's so good. I gotta rewatch that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch that on Christmas Day.
We've
been talking about doing an action movie for Christmas Day.
Yeah. Or Die Hard 2. Or double feature.
Christopher Walken is also fantastic in it as Max Shrek, named after the actor who played Nosferatu in the 1922 Nosferatu. Tim Burton wanted something to look very specific. He does pour his art direction into everything he does, and I adore him for it. We did have a few moments in this where, like, what happened to Tim Burton?
I know.
And I think it's just budget and technology happened to him. Because after Sleepy Hollow, I don't think I like a Tim Burton movie that was released after 1999.
Yeah,
and I wish I did.
We did have, like, we were thinking about this and Edward Scissorhands and just being like, man, they're so... Beetlejuice.
Pee-wee.
Pee-wee. I mean...
Mars Attacks.
So good. And it really just... like envelops you in this world, and it feels so real because there's no CGI or very little. I guess there wouldn't have.
In this movie, there's I think some. I think the extent in 1992 is going to be mostly some like using computers to smooth edges on things.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's there. It's a painting or it's a backdrop.
Yeah, and it's just like so much cooler. Big Fish. Watch out, Wedge. I remember enjoying Big Fish when I watched it, but I've only seen it once. And
I remember seeing it in theaters with a friend who loved it and thinking, too much CG for me. It took me out of it. And I was probably being a judgmental 15-year-old. I probably owe this movie a rewatch because I was kind of on a tear against CG when I was like 15, and I think a few movies got unfairly baby with the bathwatered by me on that front.
I remember having weirdly, for some reason, the Big Fish soundtrack. I don't know
so
why.
Cool and weird.
I had it.
I love that about you so much. It's so weird.
But yeah, it was like I did listen to the Big Fish soundtrack a lot. I don't know why.
The Danny Elfman score or the soundtrack?
Danny Elfman score.
Nice.
We were a big Danny Elfman household. My dad was a musician and a band director, had a degree in music performance, and we grew up like playing music and listening to a lot of music. So we had a lot of classical music and a lot of film scores.
Can we put a pin in Danny Elfman, because I want to make sure we talk about him with Scrooged. Because Danny Elfman scored Scrooged, and we have some thoughts. We'll get back to Danny. Charlie was terrible. Yes, I agree.
Oh, it was awful. I'm sorry if you like that movie, because one of our rules here is that we no Judgy Wedgie was a bear. Judgy Wedgie had no friends, but
I don't like that movie because I don't like
that.
movies that feel. Here's my look. Just because we don't judge each other for our opinions, that does not in any way mean we can't dislike movies.
That's true.
I'm not going to judge you for hating something. I hope you don't judge me. And as long as we don't do the thing where we offer some contrarian opinion just to feel smarter than someone who likes something, as long as we don't do that shit, we're fine. Glowcat, I feel you on this. I really like Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. And I feel the same way. I had moments in it where I was being an elitist. Then you look at it later and you're like, oh, I was just being young. I felt like I was guarding some territory for myself that I'd carved out. And now I'm a little bit older and I'm a little bit more secure in myself. And I realize I don't give a shit if other people approve of the things I like. And I like this. That's great. Totally with you there. All right. I want to talk about... I gotta pee again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Earlier when I let the dog out, I did not hit the bathroom. And I should have peed then. So I want to jump around and talk about Christmas specials for a second, and then we can maybe talk about happiest season, and we can count Turtle Christmas as a special. We watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes of Christmas TV this week.
We did.
I'm really excited about talking about it. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and also, so our sort of, it's funny because we were feeling so overwhelmed by all of the options and all the things we love to watch around the holidays that we actually sat down. And if you follow us on Instagram at You Are in a Video Store, we actually sat down and planned out our nights all the way through Christmas Eve. And we've been trying to do a special from television and then a Christmas movie. So last night we did We Wish You a Turtle Christmas, or Very Turtle Christmas. What is the actual name of that? If you know, please drop it in the chat. I know it's in Adam's notes. And then, of course, Scrooged, which is our movie club pick of the week, and we will talk about that in our third segment, a movie club. And I'm trying to remember. Actually, I can look on our Instagram. Let's see. You are in a video store. Are in a video store. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's not on our... Maybe. Well, harumph. I thought it was posted. I thought it was posted on You Are in a Video Store, and I stand corrected. Well, I know that I think tonight we were going to try and do a double feature of shorter movies. But geez, I just can't remember now. I'm going to have to ask Adam when he gets back. Let us know what y'all watch on Christmas Eve, or what you're watching leading up to the holidays, or, you know, the next few days. Let's see here. You hear Adam screaming at the animals. Our animals have been very restless the last few days. I think it's definitely something in the air. Hey!
Glowcat just busted me.
What happened?
Oh, I hopped into the VHS. Glowcat and I are in the same VHS group on Facebook, and I opened up my phone to check it out while I was in the bathroom, and I heart reacted to a nudie pic from one of our members because it's a super great group. So people post their butts and stuff, which rules. And Glowcat was like, Adam just stepped out of the stream to heart react your butt. I got busted.
That's so fun. So while you were heart reacting butt pics, I was trying to remember. I thought you had posted our Christmas lineup on You Are in a Video Store.
I added it to our story, so it's easy to miss. Let me break it down here. I'll pull it up. Yeah, we kind of
Pathos butts rules.
Butts rules. Butts rules.
Butts rules.
Butts rules, guys.
Butts rules.
Okay, so our countdown this week has been. We've been. You explained that we're doing a feature and a Christmas special and a movie.
Yes.
So we did Rudolph and Happiest Season on Sunday. Last night we did Turtle. We Wish You a Turtle Christmas and Scrooged. Tonight, we're going to watch The Grinch, and then either Elf or Christmas Evil. Probably Elf. Tomorrow...
Although, it would be... Because Christmas Evil came in on VHS, right?
No, it's on... I got the Blu-ray, actually.
Oh. I was going to say it would be really fun to take the tube TV out by the fire.
That would be so nice. And the shitty thing is, like, y'all... what you see behind us is part of the collection, but I would say 70% of the collection is in boxes safely stored because we're moving. And a thing that kind of bummed me out this Christmas is that we've had to like stream things that we own.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, Grinch, Charlie Brown, a lot of those specials I do have on VHS tape that I bought years ago. Anyway, we'll just have to stream it. That's okay. So yeah, neither of those are streaming.
That's all right. We'll build a fort instead.
Build a fort! Yes. Tomorrow is Pee-wee's Christmas special, The Goat, and Little House on the Prairie Christmas, and then Muppet Christmas Carol, and then on Christmas Eve we're gonna watch Charlie Brown, and Home Alone. So I'll drop those. I'll make a nicer graphic for the next like last 3 days, and I'll drop them on our Instagram so that y'all can reference it if you want to join us.
And that's fun. Tony G. Wiz, you watched Bad Santa. I saw Bad Santa, I think, in theaters, weirdly. Gosh, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but it's a fun one. Oh, yeah, it's real fun. Here's a fun fact as well. Pathos, I love that. I want to do a two-man scene with you. But here's a fun fact of mine. When I was 17... my brother left a Girls Gone Wild DVD in my room wrapped up, and it was to Adam from Bad Santa. What? Yeah. He was like, I don't know, because I was a horny teenager, and he was like, here's some like half porn for you. Wow. I don't feel too weird. And then the funny thing is I watched it with my one of my best friends. We're like, Girls Gone Wild, dude, let's throw it on. And we thought we were gonna get all titillated, and we just got so sad. Well, yeah, that shit's really fucked up. It's such a bummer. Even at 17, we weren't horny enough to overcome the sad hurdle of it. Yeah. Because the particular volume we had, not to go into too much detail, the cameraman was clearly trying to prowl through a bar and get a bunch of different girls to take their tops off as they did. There's a reason they're in jail for this. Yeah, I was about to say, for those of you who don't know, there's a reason. Holiday PSA, Girls Gone Wild is super fucked up, and we do not endorse GGW here on the stream, but we do endorse fun Bad Santa gifts. Yeah, and we endorse Going Wild. Oh, yeah. Just not the brand Girls Gone Wild. Yeah. But yeah, if there's a tasteful, consensual, sober revealing of boobies for fun, we won't stand in the way. Or non-sober if it's consensual. As long as tasteful, and consensual. As long as it's consensual, it doesn't have to be tasteful. I don't think. Yeah. Anyway, the sad thing about it was that there was one girl who was following them around trying to hog the camera the whole night, who clearly was there alone, and we were like, we can't watch this. We can't watch a drunk person follow around a camera crew. What was wrong with us back then? Well, we discovered that we didn't, in fact, all die at the turn of the century, which made us feel godlike. We also had technology, the likes of which we'd never seen before. The internet was connecting us. CG was allowing us to create dreams in our media. Auto-tune was allowing us to make singers out of nobodies. And then the United States was told, then the United States was rocked to its foundation and reduced to nationalistic origins because of 9/11, and we still haven't quite recovered. That's what happened. Yeah, Pathos is like topless scenes as long as it's tastefully done, like the scene in Titanic. Subwit Alon, welcome. Hello. Okay. You want to keep talking about movies instead of sad boobies? Yeah. Or we could talk about happy butts, too. I love happy butts. Okay, so what did we watch Christmas-wise? I'll rattle them off. Okay. We watched 3 Simpsons episodes. One I watched alone, Grift of the Magi. That is from season 11. I don't think I'd ever seen it. We watched 2 classic Simpsons episodes. One, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire. That's the pilot. That's episode 1, season 1 of the show. And then one of my favorite episodes from season 7, I want to say, Marge Not Be Proud. That is the episode where Bart steals the Bone Storm cartridge and falls out of favor with Marge. 2 of my favorite Christmas episodes of that show. We also watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Bing. And we watched Turtle. We Wish You a Turtle Christmas. Bing. This is
We'll get to it. And then we also watched Rocco's Modern Christmas, which was season 2 of Rocco's Modern Life Christmas episode, and a Garfield Christmas from 1987, which we watched last night, which I loved.
Yeah. We watched it last year for the first time.
I don't remember that.
Or the year before. We did, for sure.
That makes more sense.
I remember us both crying and being like, that was really amazing.
We cried last night too, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Christmas.
We cried twice last night.
Well, yeah, if you watch Scrooged and you don't cry, I mean, no judge. I mean, if you're not neurotypical in the way you process emotions, no shade, but I think Scrooge is a tearjerker.
It is.
In my high school PC networking class, someone downloaded LimeWire and a few Girls Gone Wild videos on his workstation and got caught watching them during class. Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing. LimeWire strikes again. What was your favorite of these, Steph? I mean, okay.
Of the specials?
Let's start with Simpsons.
Well,
what was your favorite Simpsons
Well,
episode?
I gotta say, like, I am really enjoying getting into The Simpsons because it's not something that I was allowed to watch growing up. And it's something that I've been, like, I'm seeing all these beautiful shiny Simpsons boxes. And I'm like, maybe I'll just start watching The Simpsons. I mean, it's weird because I've dipped in and just watched random episodes. But and you said, what did you say? Start on season 3?
I tend to think start a little later and then go back, kind of like Parks and Rec, just because it's a sitcom that's beloved because of its time. Seasons 3 through 7, I think, or 3 through 8 are, I think, referred to as the golden age of The Simpsons. So I think it's a really good place to start, and then you'll start to see that quality dip a little bit, but not severely towards the end. So what Steph's referring to is we have seasons 1 through 10 on DVD. To me, that's what you need. That's what I quested for a long time to get. Funnily enough, the first season over there, I bought the day it came out at Best Buy in high school, thinking I'm gonna buy these as they come out. And then they were like, "We'll release one new one every month, and they're $50 each." And I was in high school, and I was like, "Guess I won't get them as they come out." But yeah, I think I recommend starting there.
Well, not to go too off the rails, but for something that is more of like what are the words I'm looking for?
Santa, ho ho ho, jolly.
Santa,
holly, deck,
ho ho ho.
halls, jingle.
No, I'm thinking of serial versus...
Oh, episodic.
Episodic versus serialized for something like this where it feels like it's more episodic.
For sure. Reset every time.
Then what are your... Well, I'm just curious. This is just a random question that popped into my head. I have loved watching random episodes of The Simpsons that you've picked, kind of almost handpicked for me to be like...
We watched a lot of season 6. It's the best.
Yeah.
I think objectively.
So what are your thoughts on something that's episodic like that? Do you feel like you have to delve into the whole...
I think that interestingly enough, most classic sitcoms... Only recently have sitcoms started to be super serialized. Mm-hmm. Even thinking back on something like Seinfeld or Friends. Those are episodic as hell. Sure, there's a technical long-term arc, but, I mean, not anything that someone sitting next to you on the couch can't be like, oh yeah, they're married. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Friends, I feel like gets a little
confused. Yeah. Maybe
They're...
that's just because Friends was so popular, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess sitcoms have always kind of cheated that balance a little bit. With long-term changes happening, but for the most part, episodes are meant to be self-contained. I think my take on that is that with The Simpsons, more than anything, what's happening over time is world building. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily like you're going to miss out. I think you can kind of, Homer's the fool, Marge is the nurturer, Bart is the troublemaker, Lisa's the nerd. You're going to see some version of those archetypes playing out against each other. It's very good comedy storytelling, and it's going to fit that formula. But I think the rewarding thing about watching it over time is being able to catch callbacks. Excuse me. And being there for the world building. Because we watched Simpsons Roasting Over an Open Fire, the first episode, and it's funny because there's a children's choir in that episode, and you can see mutant versions of people like Milhouse and stuff, and Ralph's got a totally different voice.
Yeah.
He's not dumb, he's saying some smart shit, but it's the way Ralph looks. And so it's interesting. But yeah, I think out of the 10 seasons there, you could pretty much jump in anywhere you wanted and not be lost.
Yeah. Well, to circle back to the Christmas specials. The Simpsons roasting on an open fire. That's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the pilot. Bold move.
For Christmas?
Uh-huh.
Well, I think it's because they had been known through, as Tony G. was pointing out, the Tracy Ullman show.
Oh, right. They're a spinoff.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
So that they could start on Christmas. It's like starting your spinoff, like, hey, join us for the start of this new show.
Yeah.
Via the special.
I was delighted.
Me too.
I was delighted.
And it's really interesting how heartwarming it is. Like they get Santa's little helper, and really shows you the full. My mom also didn't think she wanted me to watch The Simpsons until she overheard me watching it, and was like, "Oh, this is like they go to church and they're like."
It's really wholesome.
Yeah, it's very wholesome and very like waspy Christian too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the greatest sitcom ever made. You should watch it. I would love to rewatch it with you. I love Marge Not Be Proud too. I remember as a kid, just when you're a kid and just like, even if it's a fictional version of like, maybe this is just me, but like fictional video games and fictional movies that are in shows that characters are watching, I'm always like, ooh, what is that? Like I always wanted to play Bone Storm, even though I know it's Mortal Kombat, but anyway, this is my nerdiness. Pathos telling the story of unlimited internet access of PCs, crapload of scrap PCs that fixed up and land in the back. Dang, some hackers.
Yeah.
These hackers.
Oh, do you know, have I ever told you my funny story about LAN party?
LAN party. I think you've told me. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's a heartbreaking story.
I'll tell you a really, really quick version of this story out there in the chat. For those of you who don't know, I didn't super grow up with like a lot of technology, video games, computers, like not really in my wheelhouse growing up. But my buddy who lived, nearby, one of my good friends growing up, Landry, shout out Landry, I know you're out there in the chat. He used to have LAN parties. So I grew up in the Texas Hill Country, and when I heard LAN party, I swear I thought he was saying, let's have a land party. Because everybody gets in your car, you drive out to someone's land, and you have a fire, or like sit out in your truck beds and like hang out on the land. And so I thought there's a whole week leading up to him inviting me to a LAN party where I thought we were going to drive out to someone's land and hang out in the woods. And I got there and everyone had computers set up, and I was like, when are we going to the land?
Oh my God.
Are we going to the land anytime soon? We're just going to hang out and play on computers. And somebody was like, this is the party. And I was just sitting on the couch like,
did everyone bring their own computer too?
uh-huh. And I had no idea what was going on. It was like an hour. I thought like, okay, we're pre-land party computer situation happening. Anyways, that's just an embarrassing
I think that's very wholesome and cute.
embarrassing story from my childhood.
Tony G. Wiz says it's hilarious.
I also didn't know that there was an F1 button. And I spent a good long while before realizing there was an F1 button, hitting F1.
Oh.
F1.
Oh, that's cute.
That was in college.
Whoa!
That was
Ooh, land party. Who's bringing the shovels?
Yeah, just to give you any indication of like how not technologically inclined I have been my whole life, the F1 thing, the LAN party thing happened in I think 8th grade, and the F1 thing happened freshman year of college.
Oh my goodness.
Rough stuff.
Rough stuff, y'all. And here you are now streaming on the internet.
Look at me.
Look at you. Can we talk? Have any of y'all seen Happiest Season? Did anyone watch Happiest Season this year? Clea Duvall.
I think it's Clea.
Clea Duvall. Really, like, I just remember Clea Duvall as being in so many indie movies in the 90s.
Just like a legendary 90s character actor.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah, indie especially.
Yeah.
What's that movie, 13? Oh my goodness, what's that? I'm going to look up that movie she's in, because there's a movie she's in that I really like. Happy something. Anyway, know. 13 Conversations About One Thing. That's what it was.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I really like that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. See, and this is the reason I wish we had access to all of the movies that are in boxes, because I know that as soon as I start opening that stuff up, I'm going to be like, oh, this movie, you know? It's an indie drama from 2001, 13 Conversations About One Thing. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so Clea Duvall's rom-com Happiest Season. It's got Kristen Stewart in it. Plot is that Kristen Stewart, Daniel Levy, Aubrey Plaza, and essentially the plot is that Kristen Stewart and her girlfriend, they go to her girlfriend's place for Christmas. Mary Steenburgen plays the mom. Love some Mary Steenburgen.
Yep.
The girlfriend has not come out to her parents, therefore they've got to kind of birdcage this and pretend to just be homies. And basically it's part birdcage, like hiding it from the parents, comedy of errors, part Hallmark movie, and part like relationship drama. A whole lot going on in this movie. Wanted to be a lot of things.
It did want to be a lot of things, and I think that an important plot point is that she is the daughter of a politician, and to me, based on like context clues within kind of the art department, it seemed like they were trying, and also just in the writing and familial dynamics, it seemed like they were sort of like right wing.
I got the vibe that they didn't seem right wing. They either seemed like here's my weird thing. I don't know if they seemed conservative, Republican, or Democrat, or progressive. They seemed like they took place in a world before all of this extreme splintering. It felt like they were politician family from a 1998 rom-com.
Yeah, like politicians.
Yeah, it's 1998. Neither the Republicans nor the Democrats are super publicly cool with gay marriage. It won't be legalized for 7 years. They're both kind of family faith platforms. They're very samey. We haven't splintered after 9/11 quite yet into nationalism and centrism. Felt like that. It felt like a very Hollywood, like, who cares what party they are? They're kind of close-minded. And they care a lot about image.
Yeah. It was very much like everyone has to be the perfect. I mean, there's like a B plot where, well, I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about without spoiling. We'll say that it very much felt like, it felt for most of the movie like a rom-com about a couple that was not meant to be. And there was a very exciting alternative that I think both of us really wanted to happen. Aubrey Plaza. And without spoiling anything, the movie felt like it wanted to have its Hallmark Christmas ending, and it felt like it thought of itself as a Christmas classic. But I think I thought the primary relationship didn't really have any chemistry. Kristen Stewart, and I don't know the actress that played her girlfriend in this, but Kristen Stewart and Aubrey Plaza, I was like, I'm here for this. There was something so basic about the way the partner was portrayed. Like, her girlfriend in this was like a non-character.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't want that to feel judgmental, because a lot of it is her need to be invisible, to blend in, to hide her queerness.
Yeah.
And so maybe that basicness is her deciding to be basic because it's the world she needs to fit into. But I felt like the movie showed me that, and I still didn't quite get what I needed from the chemistry of their relationship in the quiet, private moments.
Yeah, I agree. That definitely didn't feel like there was chemistry there. I also thought the editing was kind of strange. Like, the pacing of it felt a little weird.
I think as soon as credits rolled, we said that movie was just stumbling over its own feet the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, Dan Levy was being Dan Levy, like, just really fun and charming, and just adding a little pop of,
adding David, really.
Yeah, a little pop of David. But the thing is that I think this movie got a lot of pushback because it's tough when, there is representation in an area where there typically isn't a lot of representation, i.e. a holiday movie that feels more Hallmarky, but obviously there's the whole like plot of being centering around somebody being in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's tough because one movie can't do everything on one hand. On the other hand, representation matters. On the other hand, like stereotypes and all these things. I mean, it's just there's so much going into this pot that's like people are gonna look at this movie through a more critical lens, I think, because of the narrative centering around a queer couple.
Yeah, they're going to ask it to do a lot.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. 100% agree with you there. Yeah, I think ultimately this movie, like, I think in a vacuum, this movie is a solid, serviceable Christmas movie that thinks it's a bit more timeless than it is and thinks that we are going to be a little bit more emotionally invested than we are. It felt like a perfectly serviceable, I watched this, it came on TV, I watched the whole thing with my family, I'm not mad I watched it, it was a cute movie. Do I think that it's a Christmas classic that will last the test of time? I don't. Do I think that there should be far more rom-coms and holiday cute relationship stories where the couple isn't one man and one woman? Absolutely. And will there be more movies will there be more cute lesbian Christmas movies? Yeah, of course there will be. I certainly hope so. And I'm certain that one of them will become a timeless Christmas classic. Yeah, this movie's the first on the dance floor. Doesn't mean it's the best dancer.
And look, here's the thing.
I'm going to save that, by the way.
That's good. That's good. I really did enjoy watching this movie. The cast is great.
Oh, yeah.
Aside from the two main characters not really having amazing chemistry, the cast is really, really great across the board. Also, without any spoilers, there's a speech that Dan Levy's character gives towards the end of the movie that actually made me feel really emotional as a queer person who didn't come out until way later in life and has a very complicated relationship with coming out. I think it's I think the vessel of a Christmas movie delivering that kind of message is important. Whether, if the bow is really nice and the packaging is just kind of meh, I mean, okay.
It's Christmas. It's the time to unwrap something and be excited about it for 15 minutes and then forget you have it.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is. It's a nice present.
This is a great cheese and veggie plate with a bottle of wine movie.
There you go.
It really is. It's like the perfect, like, cozy up put on your coziest socks and like pour yourself a big glass of wine or make yourself some hot tea and like have a cheese plate. Like, this is the perfect movie for that. And
speaking of queer representation and the idea of crafting a space for the outsider in Christmas specials, here is what we paired it with. We watched this timeless... Audrey! We watched this timeless Christmas classic. Come on, Rudolph. Come on. Hold on. It's in a protective case, like so many of the tapes, which makes it fall over. Rudolph
the naughty tape.
Red-nosed reindeer. I help me feed me, Seymour. This movie, very much, I thought I'd give more thought to it, and I didn't. I mean, it very much is like, though, everyone's a dick. Like, Donner's a dick, Santa's a dick. Everyone shames Rudolph and shames Hermie, the elf, who wants to be, who wants to be a dentist. And whether or not I think maybe this is a very 2020 reading. I'm sure it is, but it very much feels like this world of like guarded masculinity, white men, and Rudolph and Hermie very much feel like outsiders. They're misfits. It's part of the plot. Of course, they feel like outsiders, but they feel like they could stand in for a variety of different communities that are marginalized. Whether you want to interpret Hermie as being queer in his pursuits, or whether or not you want to interpret Rudolph as being othered, perhaps I think a very common reading of this is that he is disabled, or there's an ableist culture against Rudolph. However you want to interpret it, I think both of us were pretty shocked by how mean everyone is in this movie.
I turned to Adam so many times, like, throughout the entire movie, just going, these people suck. This place sucks. Like, everyone is so mean. I did not remember how mean-spirited everyone was in this
Santa
movie.
tells Donner to be ashamed of himself for having contributed to the birth of Rudolph.
I know. It's terrible.
Glowcat says they used to call their friend group the Misfit Toys.
Aw, that's sweet.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, this movie really does have, like, it weirded me out in a few ways. First of all, we both had a misremembery of thinking that the Abominable Snowman was kind, because that's from Monsters, Inc.
Uh-huh.
We were remembering the fake out from Monsters, Inc. when they pay homage to this. There's a very creepy tooth removal bit.
That is the face that I just made, because that scene is fucked.
Speaking of Dennis can mess you up.
Yeah.
Hermie removes all of this creature's teeth. Just kill it, man. Like, you're gonna... This creature is an apex predator who rules the North Pole. Who knows what sort of doom and gloom they brought on themselves by eliminating this guardian.
I know.
Like, the U.S. military is gonna run in the next day. Samuel L. Jackson leading it, Kong Skull Island style. Because you remove the teeth. Anyway, that part bothered me.
It was very disturbing. It's weird because it's been a while since I've watched Rudolph, and I just remember it being, like, one, a lot shorter. I forgot, like, all the B plots, and two, it being really heartfelt and sweet, which I guess at its core that is there, but this movie's, like, dark.
A lot of the Rankin Bass.
Dark.
I think that's the thing about Christmas, though, is Christmas is dark. It's literally like the world is trying to kill you. That's where Christmas comes from. The world is trying to kill you. There's not enough food. You're saving on the harvest. It's cold outside. It's getting dark earlier. So you gotta fight that darkness. And Rudolph literally provides the light. Granted, this movie was very much trying to write to the song. And I think maybe they leaned into the bullying aspect quite a bit. Mm-hmm. It's got a happy ending where everyone learns their lesson. And maybe that makes it realistic. Maybe this kind of darkness in a Christmas movie is more valuable than a pie in the sky. Everyone's treating each other nice from the jump. Yeah. Maybe this movie prepares you for the cruelty of the world in a more realistic way. I think I was just shocked that Santa was so much part of that cruelty. Mm-hmm. There you go. There's that. And then the final thing to discuss before we move on to new arrivals is we wish you a turtle Christmas. And all I gotta say about this is I thought I had everything done for the year, and then I realized that we gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift for Splinter. We gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift, gotta get a gift for Splinter. What can be said?
Just when you think your shopping is done.
Right? What do you get for the ninja master who has everything?
I'll tell you what, you get
5 video games, 4 manhole covers, 3 skateboards, 2 comic books, and a pizza with pepperoni. Okay, it's 25 minutes long. It's loosely strung together with a shell of a plot. It's so clearly shot on sound stages over like a 4-day period. The camera almost never cuts on the crowd shots. Instead, it just zooms in and out of people's faces, presumably because they were saving money on the number of takes they were doing. Mm-hmm. There are kids who are there for no reason, like a lot of 90s kids stuff.
Who don't know the words.
And you can hear on the soundtrack the noises of the puppetry moving. So
you can hear the mechanics like...
Yeah, you hear like someone's like, I think that's totally radical, and in the background you just hear clicking and. This was a piece of shit. I would recommend it to turtle maniacs like me or anyone seeking something campy. Mm-hmm. 25 minutes. The music writing in this, Stephanie, you can play like 8 instruments. Why don't you give us your insight into the choices that were made for this?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this special was kind of great.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Please dish.
I Look, I think it's so weird, and I think it's so bad it's good.
I think it's definitely, at its runtime, something I will watch every year. Certainly no
Here's the
Star Wars
thing.
holiday special.
No.
Like, you can, this
No,
will,
no, no.
this
is
will pass
actually-
the time.
Look, I found myself, like, I was, like, in the living room dancing. Like,
It's true, you were.
I was having a good time.
You're like, 5 video
I was
games.
Like, yeah.
I mean, it is.
Like, it is what it is, and I like what it is.
I love that. This is, let's mark the calendars.
If it were more than 20, 25 minutes, like, I'm sure I would feel differently, but it's just enough of absurdity and weird, bad music that it's, like,
I feel
charming.
like the choices they made with the music are anti every music rule. Like, seriously, I think these songs were written by people with no musical background. Because it'll do things like go from a 4/4 song to including a little solo that's 3 bars long, where the turtles can go wherever they're like, I love it, oh baby, baby, and then it cuts. Anyway, I like that. So let's mark the clock. This is better music. Better music coming out of the Shells tour. Also terrible. There's also a song in this called the Rap, where they're rapping gifts.
The rap was pretty bad.
And yeah, I'm like, man, as a rapper and Turtles mega fan with Leonardo's face tattooed on my arm, I was a little personally offended by the rap. Skipping Stones. Yeah, Skipping Stones is legitimately dope. Maybe we have those too. We have the Coming Out of Their Shells tour live show and the Coming Out of Their Shells tour behind the scenes tape. So there's one more live action Turtles singing songs tape that I don't have. It's called Turtle Tunes, and I gotta find it on tape. TURTLE Power and Raphael, he's the leader of the group. Turtle Power, that song by oh my god, Partners in Rhyme, and the Ninja Rap from TMNT2 Secret of the Ooze are the two best. Well, I just want to mark the time. 8:45 p.m. on December 22nd, 2020 was the date and time at which Stephanie liked a piece of Turtles content more than I did.
Wow.
May even convince me to like it a little more. Just so lazy.
It's so lazy.
So lazy.
It's lazy, but like, look, I feel like weird, random. I mean, all month we've been running around the house, even before this tape came in, singing "Gotta Get a Gift for Splinter," and that to me is like fun and special and feels like a new tradition.
I agree that getting a gift for Splinter is now a new tradition. All right, I found Turtle Tunes on eBay, $20 OBO. I'm going to make them a $15 offer on this, and we'll see if we get lucky, okay? I'm going to do it right now. $15 I'm willing to spend. I don't really want to spend 20. We'll see if they take this, and then maybe we'll be talking about Turtle Tunes in a few weeks, all right? This is how the store accumulates things. Speaking of which, do we want to move on to new arrivals?
Yeah, let's do it.
Arrivals. All right, y'all. Hey, thanks to everyone who's watching. Let's do a quick station identification. First of all, I think both of us are in Christmas vacation mode and feeling kind of out of it tonight.
Well, also, I don't know who here is in Texas, but it's like cedar allergy mega season. I, for one, have a lot of additional vulnerabilities today. Very, very sleepy. Feeling very tired. Allergies. I'm hungry. I'm hungry
too. I'm hungry.
And also had some issues with my SSRI and having some brain zaps. So, bless you.
Oh, you're getting the brain zaps?
I'm kind of
It's the worst feeling, man.
You know where I'm
the
going.
worst thing. You ever take an SSRI, like antidepressant or anti-anxiety, and you forget to take it and you get that bwong feeling? Hate that shit.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, I'm sorry, boo. I didn't realize you were getting zaps.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. It happens, you know? And y'all, you gotta take care of yourself, you know?
You do gotta take care of yourself. Let's do new arrivals.
Let's do new arrivals.
Okay, so first of all, that Turtles tape was a new arrival, and it arrived on the same day as this. I've been anticipating this all year. This is Shohei Imamura.
It's so pretty.
It's very pretty. It's very classy box set.
It is.
This is Arrow Academy. Arrow Academy. Arrow tends to be more the genre films. Arrow Academy tends to be more of their like archival, like foreign prestige movies. Shohei Imamura is one of my favorite Japanese directors. Often known for kind of gritty stuff. I think that I actually pulled it to take it in the other room. I think Vengeance is Mine is his. Anyway, the reason I bought this originally, or the reason that I was drawn to it, is because this marks the first Blu-ray release of one of my favorite movies of all time. It's called Black Rain. It's a Japanese movie called Black Rain, not to be confused with the Ridley Scott Michael Douglas movie that takes place in Japan called Black Rain that was released, I think, like within a year or even the same year.
Is this from Black Rain?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's like, that image on the back is likely from Narayama. Black Rain is one of my favorite movies. It's an anti-war movie. It explores a family dynamic throughout the 1950s in the aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki as this family begins to die of radiation poisoning from their proximity to the bombs. And it's told as just this beautiful family drama about people trying to make it through a post-war world. Really kind of has some elements of Italian neorealism, with the exception of the fact that it was made in the 80s. So it is not being shot like Italian neorealist movies were in actual ruins, but it is exploring some generational trauma from the bomb. And Black Rain refers to the literal black, goopy, tar-like rain from radiated zones. Really a beautiful movie. I have it up there, guarded in a VHS tape up on the shelf. That is a VHS tape that is in widescreen with subtitles that I bought from the video store I worked at. That's for entertainment. I had to own it because it was not on DVD. About 8 years ago, it got put on DVD on a limited run. I never upgraded. So when I saw that there was a release of it, but not only that, a box set with 2 other movies from the same director and the same movement of his career, I am dying to watch the other 2. The other 2 movies in this box set are The Ballad of Narayama and Zegen. Zegen I know nothing about. Ballad of Narayama, I have seen the 1950s Ballad of Narayama. It is a Japanese legend of an old woman who must be carried to the top of Mount Narayama, where she will die to sacrifice herself for future generations, and her son who does not want to take her. I've seen the Technicolor 50s version. It's a beautiful story. And like Steph was saying, Arrow did a really fantastic job on this release. Not only with the individualized, gorgeous art of each of these releases. So pretty. But a nice booklet. Survivor Ballads is the name of the box set. Clearly, I know the Survivor aspect of 2 of these. I'm very excited to watch Zegan, and I will hopefully report back here after watching it. Yes, I have seen Grave of the Fireflies. Very funny pathos. So, remember how a few weeks ago on the stream I was like, I just got the Spirited Away steelbook of Spirited Away, and I was like, uh-oh, this has awoken something in me. Well, it did, and next week, once they all get here, the new arrivals section next week will actually be the Ghibli steelbooks. However, Grave of the Fireflies Blu-ray upgrade on steelbook arrived today, and I almost brought it onto the show, and I decided I would save it for next week. So,
it did?
Yes.
Oh.
So it's in the other room. So Pathos is like right in sync with me right now.
Wedge is saying heard it's heartbreaking, and Pathos saying soul crushing but beautiful. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, I think it's Roger Ebert famously said it belongs on any top 10 list of the greatest anti-war films. And he said that it was made in the 80s. He said that Roger Ebert's original review said it demanded that animation be looked at in a new light. I think it was the 3rd movie from Ghibli, and the only Studio Ghibli movie of its time that was not given distribution rights from Disney. And so the steelbook it arrived on has slightly different logos on the spine than the other ones. Anyway, I learned a lot today about this. Grave of the Fireflies is one of my favorite movies in college. I haven't seen it in years. But yeah, it's a story about post-bombing. It's a story about post-bombing I think like a 10-year-old kid and his 5-year-old little sister making their way through trying to find a home after their home's been destroyed.
Wow.
And they both are radiated and have like a ticking clock as well. It's a heartbreaking movie. Very good though. Okay, well, speaking of cool, speaking of Japanese movies, I don't want to make. I got a couple fun bootlegs. Shout out Steve Rincon. These are some horror movie bootlegs. Red Room. I'm actually afraid to watch this one.
I'll sit that one out.
I originally messaged him to buy this, and then he was like, "Hey," so he knows that I'm always looking for Japanese and Hong Kong releases that were not ever given an official U.S. release, because I like to try and collect stuff that is harder to find. And so this Garidama, this is a little monster movie. It's kind of like a Gremlins creature feature ripoff of a little rubber monster. It's only 45-50 minutes long. Watch that this week. And then Red Room is a little bit newer, and Red Room is like a little bit more torture porny, and I'm a little nervous to watch it. He pitched me on it, and I was like, sure, it's not available, I'll see it, but I'm not like chomping at the bit to watch it, because I think I might have to remind myself it's just a movie. Also, speaking of cool shit from Japan, this came this week for the game room, for the game section of rentals. This is called Silhouette Mirage. This is a holy grail game for me, from Working Designs, formerly known as Treasure. They just make the craziest, coolest platform-pushing stuff. This is a action platformer for PlayStation. I've never played it before. The seller actually sent it to me in a protective case because they know it's hard as shit to find. It's got a cool holographic title on the spine. I don't know if you really can't tell in this light. Silhouette Mirage, if you've ever played it, I'm so stoked. Yes, Glowcat, it came. I'm so excited to dive into that. I am at a point of embarrassment of riches with video games because I ordered some PlayStation stuff that all came at the same time. So right now, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to continue my Saga Frontier campaign, start Silhouette Mirage, or play Mega Man 5, X5, or keep going with Ape Escape.
Well, you also ordered this one a long time ago, and it's kind of a surprise that it showed up. Also, Glowcat, they want to know, are you going to stream it?
Yes, I will stream Silhouette Mirage. I think it's special enough that I need to. I was going to try and decide what people kind of wanted to see, but I think I'll probably give it a try on my own and then open it up for the stream. For sure. Good call. And the funny thing is that Silhouette Mirage arrived the same day as the big new arrival did this week. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I remember saying to Stephanie, I've been waiting for this game forever because of the delays of the Postal Service. By the way, thank you. If there's any Postal Service employees who watch this, thank you. We know shit's really hard this year and that Trump tried to sabotage you. We ain't mad at you for delays. We got your back and we appreciate you doing such a great job despite all the pressures and shit thrown at you. Just want to say that. Silhouette Mirage took a while to get here because of everything that's going on. And it arrived the same day something else did. And I was like, dang, I can't believe this was overshadowed because this would have been the headline of the day on any other day. Mm-hmm. Okay, final new arrival before we get to that is Sailor Moon, y'all. I gotta say, this is Season 1, Part 1 of Sailor Moon. I'm definitely going to order Season 1, Part 2. I'm learning about Sailor Moon. So, growing up, my friends and I would watch Dragon Ball Z on Toonami in the afternoon. But I never I thought it was cool as hell. I loved the idea of gathering energy. I loved the idea that the fights were cool. I tried to follow the arcs, but I always felt lost. Kind of going back to what you were saying earlier about serialized storytelling. Mm-hmm. I never felt like I knew what was going on. And I think that if I had been shown Sailor Moon instead, it would have really awakened me in a different way because I was the kid who felt like I wanted to play Pretty Pretty Princess but couldn't because it was not for boys. I wanted Barbie's Pool because it was cool toy with a water feature, but it was not for boys. And I'm just finding that Sailor Moon is like opening up my aesthetic in this way that's making me feel very like liberated and happy. And I just love watching this show. It's very new to me. The animation is so cool. I love how it's basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer in terms of it being a teenage girl you see as ditzy becoming a chosen one hero and fighting monsters that all represent some different sort of growing up. I can see a lot of Buffy influence coming from this. And I've just adored it. I've been watching like 2 or 3 episodes a night. I adore it. I'm plowing through it. I love Sailor Moon.
I love how much you love Sailor Moon. I think it's awesome.
Well, you watched it growing up, right?
I did, but I would just watch it when it was on. Whenever I stumbled across it, and I always loved Sailor Moon more, I guess, in theory, because I appreciate and love it for what I believe it to be. Not necessarily what I know it intimately to be, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I get you.
But seeing your enthusiasm over Sailor Moon has made me really want to like intentionally revisit it and go on this journey with you because, y'all, Adam's been very excited.
I have been so excited. I'm loving this show, y'all. I really am. I'm loving it. And I'm less than 10 episodes in. They're short. You should catch up with me and we should watch it.
Yeah.
Because if I dig all season 1, I'm going to get Sailor Moon R, then a Sailor Moon S, and I'm going to start watching through the whole thing.
It's exciting.
I've never been an anime person, y'all. I love Japanese animation, anime, and some manga, but mostly in the form of feature movies. Grave of the Fireflies, Akira, or whatever, however you pronounce it. Redline. I love a lot of anime feature films, but I always felt very intimidated by the idea of getting into an anime series because first of all, how confusingly organized it is for me coming as a new person. What's the first episode? What do I need to watch? And the breadth and the depth of the world building. But fortunately, this is season 1, part 1. It was right there for me to pick up. I know it's the first thing. I'm starting at the ground level, and I'm loving it. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Redline's super fun. And we got some votes for Sailor Moon, and the manga would kill any form of Goku. Glowcat says Sailor Moon helped shape who they were.
I love that.
And they also recommend Yu Yu Hakusho. All right, I'll check that out. Oh, okay. Created by the husband of the person who created Sailor Moon. Well, dang. All right, cool. I appreciate that. I love a good recommendation.
Me too.
All right, y'all. We'll keep you posted on our Sailor Moon journey. And now for the big. Yeah, I told you it was secretly in frame the whole time. Here is the big,
everything knocks over.
Right. Here is the big new arrival of the holiday season. I'm not this strong. It's actually already completely unboxed and built in the corner over there. But Stephanie and I decided to pick up the Ninja Turtles cabinet. We realized it was sold out everywhere. We didn't know how to find it. And then we found the one that we might even like more, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I assembled it. It is sitting in the corner. This is Arcade 1-Up. So if you don't know Arcade 1-Up, they make 3/4 sized arcade machines. So this thing's over there. It stands about 5 feet tall.
Just sleeping right now.
Sleeping. It looks like just a slightly smaller version, 3/4 size of an arcade machine. And this one in particular comes pre-programmed with X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men Children of the Atom, and then one SNES port, Mutant Apocalypse. I'm going to try and find a way to stream it, Glowcat. I've actually been talking to Alon, our station manager, and we are trying to figure out a way to connect the hardware in such a way that we can stream it. We will figure it out. We might be able to find a Ninja Turtles one of these as well. You'll just have to stay tuned and see. But essentially, Santa came a little early this year. I feel like this was really an embarrassment of riches. Like, getting this made me feel like a spoiled brat on Christmas. I won't lie, especially since the year's been so hard for so many people. But I'm just going to tell you, we saw it in the store. It was $300. We had a little discount, and I just got Christmas money, and I said to myself, I'm going to blow all of this Christmas money right now and get this thing.
And I said, I support you.
That's pretty much what happened. And now it's here, and it fills me with joy every time I see it. And even though we're going to move soon and we're going to have to deconstruct this room, it's pretty cool. And, you know, the video store I worked in college had an arcade in the back of it with a bunch of games. And this just feels kind of meant to be. So, I'm a little embarrassed of how much money I spent on it, and embarrassed of the fact that it's going to be cheap beer for a while moving forward. I'll say that.
Well, hearing you after you'd built it, just randomly walk by the office door and cackle to yourself made me think, okay, it's probably, you'd be like, ah. Yeah.
Every time I looked through this and saw it, I was like, oh, that thing, oh my God, what?
I'm like, okay, well, you're having a good Christmas. You're having a good time.
That's right.
Also, real quick, Pathos, please drop the recommendation in the chat, because I'm curious.
Yes.
Before we get too far down.
Yes. So that's the new arrivals section, y'all. Sorry I scared off 3 viewers by being a spoiled brat, but it's fun, and I'm sorry about it. Anyway, that's the new arrival section of the show, y'all. We're gonna keep moving on. Anyway, also, I need to get much better. Y'all, I've been enjoying playing it, like, on regular ass mode, and I can play through the game. This is the only arcade 1-up cabinet that comes with a Wi-Fi support. So I hopped onto its Wi-Fi network, and it's only linked up against other people who have the same cabinet. And let me tell you, I think I'm one of the lesser of the players in this world. Because I tried to play someone last night. I don't know where they are, but they kicked my ass. Hardcore. I don't even think I got one hit off. Well, dang, it is coming up just after 9 p.m. here. We're making good time for the show. Once again, quick station ID. You are in a video store on UltraLoop every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. I'm your host, Protextor.
And I thought you were going to say more. I was like, and I'm your co-host / co-store video store employee, Stephanie, aka DJ Stephanie Michelle, aka Flack of Smeagol's.
And we're both tired. And you can follow us on the Instagram accounts that are circling on the sign in front of the counter here. Cool. We're going to go ahead and move into the final part of the show, which is Movie Club. So everyone who was able to watch Scrooged with us this week, here's the time to talk. Movie Club. Ooged. So let's go ahead and pop it up there.
Oh.
Sorry. And let's talk about Scrooge. I'm so sorry, Steph. I'm like Tiny Bladder McGibbons today. You haven't taken one break.
You know, I worked in restaurants for 13 years.
Yeah. I worked in restaurants for 4, and I don't think I developed the same bladder as you.
No, it's with me for life now, I think.
All right. All right. Well, I'll be back then.
Okay, looks like we got Monster. Is that anime thriller murder mystery recommendation? Thank you, Pathos. 74 episodes long and is about a Japanese surgeon working in Germany getting involved in an incredible conspiracy that endangers himself, everyone he knows, and puts him on the run for years. This sounds right up my alley. If y'all don't already know or haven't gleaned, I love thrillers. I love mysteries. Ugh, I love them. Keep the recommendations coming. This is like, whether it's anime or a series or, you know, whatever, we're here. We're in the chat. We're here to talk. We're here to recommend things to each other and go down those fun rabbit holes and little side tangents there. I will wait for Adam to get into Scrooged, but I believe Watch Out Wedge last week was saying that they'd never seen it. Am I misremembering that? But I remember somebody saying it was going to be their first time watching Scrooged, which I gotta know. Like, I just have to know what it was like, because I can't imagine, at this point, I can't imagine going back to having never seen it. You know? You know what I mean? All right, I was right. Watch out, Wedge. Ah, how exciting. I hope you loved it, personally. I love it. Well, we'll get into it. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but ooh, okay, Pathos. I'm definitely gonna have to check out Monster. I was just asking Wedge, because I think last time Watch Out Wedge was saying that it was their first time watching Scrooge, and I was so excited.
And they said Bill Murray was their totem, their spirit person.
And like, I was just saying, I can't imagine at this point what it would be like watching Scrooge for the first time. Like, what a thrilling experience.
Wedge, what was it? Okay, I didn't see Scrooged until college. So I didn't grow up with this movie.
I didn't grow up with it either.
It's become an adult classic for me.
Me too. Same.
Wedge, liked it. Was so wacky. Did it get you? Did it get you, Wedge? It's a Bill Murray, like, it's basically Bill Murray on stage tap dancing for 2 hours. Did you love it as a Bill Murray fan? I gotta know.
Liked it. It was so wacky.
It is wacky. It's Richard Donner, director of Lethal Weapon, director of The Goonies. Love me Richard Donner. He's awesome. I thought that he handled, like, I think the direction on this movie is just, like, I was paying more attention to that this time. Mm-hmm. Like, the transitions and the way it weaves in, and the way it plays with slaps, like, goofiness, wackiness, the slapstick versus the seriousness.
Yeah. And
letting Bill, it manages to capture a tone that feels like it has real stakes and is also very goofy. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like it has a very interesting tone that I don't think very many people are capable of pulling off.
Yeah, I agree. Makeup effects on the first one. Okay, I agree, Pathos. Wait, I think I walked away thinking it was a bad movie, but interesting.
That is so interesting. I do not in any sense think of this as a bad movie. I will fight you. No shame, seriously, on your opinion, but what do you think its failings were? Because I think something I always want to explore is, like, sometimes Stephanie and I, when we're talking about bad versus good, we try to use the terms what works and what doesn't work. What didn't work about this for you? Structurally, tonally, so fascinating. Yeah, the makeup effects across the board. And also the first ghost. Yes, Pathos. Those effects always, especially the part where he's turned around and the mouse crawls out of his skull. Oh, so it's and and Pathos said, "No shame on your opinion, but I will powerbomb you through a wooden table." No, I will not. Seriously, no shame. I don't care if you like it or dislike it. I'm just curious. I don't feel defensive of this movie. I didn't make it. I don't feel defensive of it in a sense that I want to. I'm joking about fighting you. What I'm curious about, though, is, like, what you fell flat for you, because I think I like it so much and it's become such an annual tradition for me that I almost lack the perspective to see what doesn't work about it.
Yeah.
And so since it was your first time, I'm really interested. I also want to say I think I thought less of this movie the first time I saw it too. Because I think I was expecting something a bit broader, and the scope is pretty focused. And I think upon subsequent viewings, seeing it more as a Christmas Carol, I was okay with the Scrooge-centric focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wedge does have a point with the breakneck speed at some points, because they do kind of settle in. Well, first of all, they're trying to tell, obviously, the Christmas Carol story, but they're also trying to tell the story of, you know, this woman that he loved and what's going on with the TV network.
But
and blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah. Part of that's Christmas Carol, but I guess not a big part.
Well, I mean,
they don't make the actual girl he let go in Christmas Carol come back in the Dickens story.
Right. They're just trying to weave in the classic tale with the whole subplot of, like, this leading up to this New Year's Eve live show, whatever. But I do think, like, yeah, they settle into certain aspects of the story a lot more than others. So sometimes you're really, like, with the taxi driver, the Ghost of Christmas Past, they, like, really take the time to kind of explore 3 different, times in his life. And, like, that character feels really, what that character is, and you kind of sit with that character for a while. You sit with the past for a while. Whereas with the final Ghost, it happens really fast, and his emotion changes very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, I want to live. I mean, it is weird because it feels like he learns his lesson pretty slowly, or not really at all until the very end. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, I did learn my lesson.
I feel that I felt that way more this time. Weirdly, it felt quicker, like a quicker turn for me this time. I've never had that problem with it before, and I really want to know what changed in my perspective and in yours. Because I feel like that's new for both of us, maybe. I don't know to project onto you, but...
Well, I don't know.
Wedge was saying random thing. I think that the first time, it does feel very random. I think I see the purpose in it more, because the Dickens story, when we go to the past, we get the schoolhouse. Then we get the schoolhouse with him being left to be the last one picked up to go home for the Christmas break. And we get the Fezziwigs party, the Fozziwigs, if you're watching the Muppet version, the party of how Christmas used to be. And in this one, we do get both those things. We get him as a kid with the 5-pound veal, and then we get him at the office party. We get those. And then the present in the Dickens story, the present is seeing Bob Cratchit's family, which he sees through his secretary's family. She's Bob Cratchit in this. As well as seeing his nephew in the book, making fun of him with family, which we get through his brother. And then the Ghost of Christmas Future, in the Dickens story, we get the grave, obviously, but we also get all of his stuff being sold and taken by the the penny turner women who steal the sheets and flip it on the streets.
Yeah.
And so I'm now realizing, hearing you say that it felt like a quick turn, that might be because in its adaptation from Dickens, it omits one beat for the final Ghost to speed it up.
Yeah.
There's no seeing, and maybe the analog for that, maybe it's a deleted scene, would have been seeing his stake in the company divvied up, or his office cleaned out.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have given it more horror. I do agree that it feels like at the end they want to get to the punch, and so they show him his grave and move on.
Yeah. Well, it's also, that's a really good point. And yeah, I think that is the most abrupt part for me, is that very last beat. Just feels like it's like, oh, okay. But there's also the story of the show they're trying to weave in. There's also the story of, like, the Christmas Carol within a Christmas Carol, and the story of the employee who was let go. Like, we pop into his
right, because you think
story.
he's Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
But he's
just
the 80s, but like he is Bob Cratchit, but he's like, we'll have 2 Bob Cratchits. We'll have the real one with the family and the Tiny Tim, the boy who doesn't speak, and then we'll have, what if Bob Cratchit was fired, and instead of being a wholesome family man, what if he lost everything and went crazy? You have this splintering, and you're right about Margot Kidder's character, because they're like, what if that love that he lost when he was a teenager at the Fezziwigs party, what if that loss followed him his whole life and came back? Maybe it's teasing the threads on the Dickens stuff, and I guess you have to decide if that's too much for you or not. But how else are you gonna? It's only an hour 40.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I think, like, once you sort of see it multiple times, then you can appreciate it for what it is, instead of trying to keep up with what you think it's gonna be. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's like we talk about on this show, the 2 watches. The one is to process the movie and let it do its thing, and the second is to think about it. It's hard to do both on the first watch.
I also want to say, Pathos, Carol Kane's Ghost of Christmas Present. Yes.
I want to have a private session with that character so badly. She's so hot.
I love her performance.
Miles Davis was the trumpet player busking? That was Miles Davis? Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
Wow. What?
Can you do a Bobcat Goldthwait voice?
No.
Well, just he's so hard to do. I just never really knew. I can't do it. That's bad. I'm just trying to do the
Oh my god.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat Cratchit.
Bobcat Gold. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Cratchit. Bobcat Shit.
Bobcat Shit.
Gold
But he's
weight.
not really. I mean, he's like
No,
he's like the dark path version. Okay, here's the thing though. This, like Great Dictator, both built up to a moment at which it's a monologue. I love how both of these movies are comedy movies about humanism. Comedy gets you so much of the way there because comedy helps you identify with people. It helps you identify with Scrooge in a way that, like, the movie is mocking the dry tellings of this story. And the movie itself is saying it is maybe telling a Christmas carol in the traditional Dickensian classic way is callous and cynical because it doesn't allow, because you don't actually give a shit about what the story means. You think it's how you tell the story because it's how it's always been told, but you're not caring about reaching your audience.
I think that you're really lining up with what Glowcat said in the chat here. Felt the pacing worked well for the movie itself. It plays on the idea that you've already seen what it's based on, so it has the ability to breeze through.
Yes. Glowcat and I are like
Yeah.
on the same wavelength tonight, for sure. I mean, I think the movie is actually criticizing traditional tellings of this story. I think the movie is saying, you tell a Christmas carol because we all know it and because it'll make you a quick buck, but do you get the point? And by making it messy and modern and Bill Murray and letting him just riff, it does that for us. And then I think it takes a page from The Great Dictator and Charlie Chaplin and says, okay, comedy gets us this far. Your guard's down. Now we're just going to tell you. To be honest, some great comedy shit does this. Chaplin did it, obviously. South Park did this for 10 years. They would tell a crazy, gross, poop and dick flavored story. And then, I'm sorry I used that particular phrasing. I meant comedic beats, but I know it sounded gross. And then at the end of the episode, they'd have the I learned something thing, and Kyle or Stan would do a little monologue and tie it home. I think that this movie does that well, and I think that's my pushback on the sloppiness. I think I agree with Glowcat that it works.
Yeah, and also, what year did this movie come out?
Pokes Fun and Entertainment Industry, 88. No. Yeah, 88.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's like,
That's kind
you're
of
not going to reach anyone if you tell the version he's telling.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking is 88, the 80s were very much about, like, acquisition of wealth and sort of, very capitalist, I don't know, just sort of that schmarmy, like, businessman.
Yeah, and the idea of the, like, placating the middle class with, like, here's a VCR.
Exactly.
I think this movie's... I think this movie is a Christmas classic and a total all-time great.
I do too. I mean, it's... What did we say last night? If you haven't cried at the monologue at the end of Scrooged, it's just not Christmas yet.
It's not Christmas until Bill Murray makes me cry.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if it made you cry. I can't help it. I know it's coming every time, but, like, I'm going to get emotional now. Like, this is the kind of shit that keeps Christmas alive for me. I really do feel like Christmas season, there's a million different ways to interpret it. Some people want to go to war for their religion over it. Some people want to use it as an example of the worst excesses of commercialism. I don't think anyone's wrong. I think, like any great piece of art or tradition, every interpretation is probably partly correct. But I do believe that the magic truly is that we try to be what we want to be because we feel like, why not? Everyone else is doing it, and it makes us an iota better. And I love that this speech I'm not going to come close to touching it, so you've seen the movie. I love that that's the point of this movie and the point of this speech is that we try, and the trying is what makes us good people, and that's what makes it Christmas. And that as long as we don't stop caring about trying, we're on the right path. There's something very encouraging to me about that, and there's something very important for that being an annual touch point, whatever it's tied to. But I think this movie does it very well. I don't think Christmas is Jesus Christ, and I don't think Christmas is presents. I do think that there's a special, intangible generosity at the heart of what we say what we mean when we say Christmas. And I think Scrooged tells that story in a way that makes Dickens' reassurance of that essential truth modern, approachable, and very fun to watch.
I agree.
Just like, that was the last energy I had for the day.
Well, do you want to wrap up a little early and start Karen Allen?
Oh, Karen Allen. Wait, Patho or Wedge? Do you mean Margot Kidder? The future had no face. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to go off the rails there.
No, I think it's good.
What better way to end a segment talking about Scrooge than to talk from the heart for too long to a live audience? Claire has lost love. Yes. Margot Kidder. Lois Lane. Okay. Well, yeah, I think it's Christmas week. We've watched a lot of great Christmas stuff. Want to one more time, last chance, shout out the list of Christmas television specials that Watch Out Wedge and Great Job Nerds put together. And since it is the 22nd tonight, that would mean if you want to keep up, you would watch Christmas with the Joker from the Batman animated series tonight. That was on a mixtape we watched.
It was?
Tomorrow night is Night of the Meek from the Twilight Zone. Peep Show, Seasonal Beatings. By the way, side pitch, if you've never watched Peep Show, it's so good. Great sitcom. The Wire on Christmas, and Charlie Brown Christmas. And if you want to... Margot Kidder wasn't in Scrooged? Am I totally off track?
Look it up.
Oh my god, I've had it so mixed up. I thought that was Margot Kidder the whole time. What the fuck
the
is
whole
wrong
conversation we had last night is...
Yes!
Okay.
Oh my god, that is her! Well, I feel so... That is Karen Allen. I feel so crazy. They don't even look alike. Well, that's just a classic case of... do they look similar? Maybe that's some face blindness, or maybe that's just me not knowing my shit. In any case, thank you for calling me out on it. Karen Allen, oh my god. I always thought that was Margot Kidder. Okay. I always thought that was Margot Kidder. So, where were we at?
Oh, we were just going to wrap up a little early since we have a special and a movie.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, is if you want to watch along with us.
Yes.
What are we watching tonight?
Tonight we're watching
Elf as our movie.
And
Finding it.
so many pictures of our cat.
I know.
What was our special for tonight?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, here it is.
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
And Elf. Tomorrow we're going to watch Pee-wee and Muppet Christmas Carol. And Christmas Eve, Charlie Brown and Home Alone. Mm-hmm. And should we do staff picks and movie club pick for next week?
Yeah.
So our movie club pick, it won't be Christmas time, so let's pick something that's not Christmassy. Mm-hmm. And staff picks. Sheesh. Tonight flew by.
It did. I didn't even think about staff picks.
Me neither.
What should we watch for our movie club?
What should we watch for movie club? Oh my goodness.
2.
Gremlins 2 was my staff pick a few... If y'all want to make it Gremlins 2... Oh yeah, because it's a New Year's movie.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, I know what my
Hell
staff
yes.
pick
Thank you,
is
Glowcat.
going to be.
New Year's, yes.
Since it's New Year's. My staff pick is going to be When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally, which we're going to watch for New Year, which you do every year. Okay,
I do every year.
Perfect.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, awesome. Steph pick When Harry... Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, your mind was blown last week when you realized Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
Was it Glowcat that pointed that out?
Yes. Because they have the novelization.
Yeah. That's right.
Let's see here. It was my staff pick a few weeks ago. I'm glad it's been upgraded to movie club pick. Movie club. Oh, and Turbo Kid, Pathos. I will try and watch that this week. Thank you for the rec and thank you for the reminder. I can't make it my staff pick because I haven't seen it yet. What will be my staff pick this week? Okay, I'm just going to look at my list of what I've watched recently, and I'm going to pick something that I think is slept on.
That's good.
It'll just be my easy way to do it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, boy. We've really gone off the deep end tonight. You know what? I'm just going to make my staff pick. It's going to be Little Shop of Horrors because we just found this adorable little Audrey 2 figurine, this pop vinyl figure. And also because Bill Murray references it at the end of Scrooged when he says, "Feed me Seymour" in the credits.
That's fun.
So, works. Bill Murray's in it. It's fun. Why not watch it for the holidays? It's about destroying who you are to help someone you love. So, it works, right? Cool. Kool-Aid Man Christmas. Wait, what? Kool-Aid Man Christmas? If that's real, we're watching it. Cool. And just so I don't forget, because I'm old. Taking a photo there. Cool. Well, we did a 2.5 hour stream. Oh, you're just going, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is there a Kool-Aid Man Christmas special? Hey, thanks for tuning in tonight, y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much, y'all.
Sorry, I talked so much more tonight.
I was so quiet tonight. I'm just having one of those days where I'm just feeling quiet. You know?
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm a poet. Okay, well, we're going to go watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Boris Karloff version. By the way, earlier in the show tonight, we talked about hating things and how it's okay to hate certain movies. And I want to tell y'all that I saw Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring Jim Carrey in theater when I was 15. And I think it's the most awful thing I've ever seen in theater. I think that it is a soulless piece of dreck that treats Christmas in the worst, most commercial way, and I hate it with all of my bones. And I think it made the world a slightly worse place by existing.
I've never known anyone to hate a movie as much as you hate that movie.
The Grinch is born because of a key party. I'm out. Okay? I hate it. We're going to watch The Grinch with Boris Karloff from the 60s, Chuck Jones animation, and go to a magic place. To me, it doesn't feel like a hot take because I saw it in theater and I was excited for it. And I thought, oh my God, is that a key party? Oh my God, what is this? Like, it makes me feel dirty watching this. I don't like it. And I've tried since and that feeling's never gone away. It doesn't even feel like a hot take. I'm averse to it. I'll tell you what. Because I really respect your opinion, because we've been on the same wavelength all night, and because you're an awesome person, and just because respect for all people, I don't need to actually give reasons for this. Because anyone is encouraging me to maybe open my mind, I will watch it this week, and I'm going to try and come at it fresh. No agenda.
I don't know if Glowcat was endorsing it.
Oh, well, they were just saying it's a hot take, and I feel like if it's a hot take, I want to cool it down and make sure that I actually feel that way. Because it's a take that's
you
been...
You do have a very strong opinion about a movie you haven't seen in a long time.
I tried to watch it last year, to be fair. But I'm going to give it a shot.
To be fair. A lot of fun little things
here. Oh, and also Abby said... Oh, Pathos agrees with Adam's hot take, and Wedge said Abby... And he watched 15 minutes of it, and it was so fucking bad they turned it off. Clint Howard, I always love, so I'm not going to disagree with you there. Okay, so maybe I'll watch it and be validated. Or maybe I'll watch it and my mind will change. Either way...
I mean, I am not stating an opinion by pointing out that,
Christopher Columbus wrote Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
And Pathos' next Marvel movie is Iron Man 3, which is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, some fun little tidbits and thoughts going on in the chat as we round out the evening here. Apparently, the Kool-Aid Man and Little John have a collab called All I Really Want for Christmas. Just thought we should address that.
I'm going to look that up right now. I love Iron Man 3 as well, Wedge.
Yes.
Let's look up Lil Jon Kool-Aid. I'm spelling both of their names wrong. Oh my god.
Looks like you're getting a lot of support for not liking the Grinch.
No, I know. Like, look, there's a guy I work with. His name is Smiles. He's got a Twitch channel called Gaming with Smiles. He's an exceptionally nice, cool dude. And you should definitely subscribe and watch his gaming content because it's very fun. He is so kind-hearted to everything, and I would not really imagine him talking something down. But he and I bonded over our mutual hatred for this movie, and I thought if Smiles can hate this movie, I don't feel so bad. There must actually be something wrong with it.
And hey, you know what? It's easily been 7+ years since I've seen The Grinch. So
I just don't think it has the crisp. I think it's entirely artifice, budget, performance, and I think it is what Bill Murray's character in Scrooged was making had he not had his dream. That's it.
Ugh.
It feels wrong to me.
Oh, I love that tie-in.
Oof. Okay, I'll rewatch it, and maybe I'll think I'm wrong in a week. Who knows?
No, I mean...
But I'm going to give it another watch, and we'll see.
I love it.
Yes, and Glowcat. It is a beloved movie by many. It is. And I would say many of those people are younger than me, and when again, maybe I was a pretentious-ass high schooler, but I remember the year after it came out, I went to Christmas with my family, and all my cousins were 3 years younger than me. And I saw that they had brought a VHS copy of that movie, and I was about 16, and I distinctly remember seeing it sitting there and thinking, oh no, they're going to grow up with that. That's kind of a bummer. And maybe that's judgmental Big Brother syndrome that I need to shake off and grow up from. And maybe I'll watch it again and hate it. Either way, it's going to be an interesting intellectual exercise. My emotions are not tied up in it, and I respect and love all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful, thunderful Christmas.
I love that. I love that.
I do also love seeing Jim Carrey choose scenery, so I think that might get a lot of mileage out of it this year. I don't know. It's been a while, so I'm going to try it. We got some hot opinions in the chat. I'm sorry to throw that fucking grenade into the chat right before we closed out here, but sounds like we got some really fun stuff. Thank you, Glowcat, for reminding us that Gremlins 2 is New Year's Eve, and for teaching me that last week. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I will relish a rewatch. Also, John Glover is in Scrooged and is the guy who runs the office building in Gremlins 2. John Glover, Lionel Luthor from Smallville. More connections. Got the I love John Glover.
That's gonna be fun.
Also, Trump in Home Alone 2, and he's playing a Trump joke as Daniel Clamp in Gremlins 2.
That's true.
I'm tired.
All right, we love y'all. We love hanging out with our regulars and meeting new people every week, every Tuesday.
Seriously, this show is my favorite thing, and y'all make it so nice, and I love the friends we're making along the way, because isn't that the real meaning of the journey?
Isn't that the real meaning of Christmas?
Isn't it? So my staff pick is... my staff pick is Little Shop of Horrors.
Mine is When Harry Met Sally.
Our movie club pick is Gremlins 2, the new batch, which we're going to discuss a week from today. You have been in a video store. We got to close up. Watch some movies this week. Be kind, rewind. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. If you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. No matter what, we hope that you get some time to bring a little light and joy into your house this week.
Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Black Lives Matter. Go easy on the Pepsi.
And, oh shit. Was I supposed to say something else?
I don't know.
Oh, there's a last thing we say. And, oh, get home safe.